Hello, good morning, and welcome to the AM show here on the Joy News channel. Now, I don't know where you are at the moment and what you're doing, but the only thing I can say is that no matter what you're going through, there is light at the end of the tunnel, as they say, because whether you believe it or not, whatever has a beginning definitely has an end. So maybe you'll be at your lowest ebb today. Don't just give up. Wherever you are, if you are in bed, just get up and believe that there's a brighter day for you tomorrow. It could be even this morning, it could be in the afternoon, but you just have to believe and get to work, and you will see your brighter day soon. So good morning and welcome to the AM show. Stay with us as we take you through the day, get you informed, for you to stay updated on what's happening in the country Ghana. We'll start the show with the AM news. After that, we'll bring you the AM sports. After the AM sport, we'll delve into what the papers are reporting this morning. And to help us do this, we'll have Dr. Joshua Jubinte Zato. He's a senior lecturer, policy and political analyst, Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon. We also have Nelson Kofi Jabab. He's MP for Karachi East constituency. He'll be joining us, and as usual, we'll have Mr. Afil Money, former president of the GJA. Yesterday, the GJA held its successful elections. I'll pick his thoughts on what he makes of what happened. Now, after that, we'll delve into the big stories. You know, dealing with brazen attacks on security forces by illegal miners will be the establishment of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Secretariat, and that has been set up to deal with it, and the yet to be established Gold Board Security Task Force to eliminate the threat in the fight against illegal mining and the trading of zinc. This morning, a comprehensive discussion highlighting the various angles to this matter will be held here on the AM show with relevant stakeholders in the sector. So join us with your thoughts on all our social media handles, and we'll get that to the rest of our viewers. Wherever you are, welcome aboard the flight, and let's take you on this journey this morning. Remember that the AM show is sponsored by Whaley Properties. We say we provide quality housing at affordable cost and with flexible payment option. My name is Samuel Kojo, and I'll be doing this with Sweetie Aborchi. But as usual, we start with the AM news. Welcome to the AM news on the AM show. Now, in a bold move to reshape the country's gold industry, the Ghana Gold Board has revoked all gold trading licenses issued under the former Precious Minerals Marketing Company regime. With a new licensing regime in place, the Gold Board is set to inaugurate a special security task force with enhanced powers to combat gold smuggling and unauthorized trading of gold. There's more in this report.
It is now official, because if you had a gold trading license issued by the now defunct Precious Minerals Marketing Company, it is no longer valid, and that is according to the Ghana Gold Board. The new era of gold trading has begun under the Gold Board after several deadline extensions. The Gold Board says it is now enforcing the new licensing regime under the Ghana Gold Board Act, which came into force in April 2025. Sami Jemfe is the acting CEO.
The new Gold Board licensing regime has taken full effect, and that effective immediately, only a Ghanaian who has gone through the lay-down due process and has been issued with a license by the Ghana Gold Board can legally engage in gold trading in Ghana.
Over 200 licenses have so far been approved under the new system to stop the drain of Ghana's gold through illegal trading and smuggling. The government is developing a special task force with full police powers, but with strict accountability.
And this task force will be driven by an intelligence unit that we have already deployed across the country, gathering information on the activities of all smugglers and illegal gold traders. We know you. You are not in hiding at all because your cover is blown. We know who you are. So you better do the needful and stop the illegal gold trading you're engaging in and the gold smuggling. The officers that we are deploying at all material times when they are embarking on field operations must wear their bulletproof vest, which will have fixed on them body cams.
Acting CEO of the Ghana Gold Board, Sami Jemfe, says the new regime is Ghana's strongest move yet to reclaim control over its precious minerals and plug the revenue leak.
Away from that, a major armed robbery syndicate that had been terrorizing residents across parts of the Kumasi metropolis has finally been brought down. The Ashanti Regional Police Command says it made the breakthrough following weeks of surveillance and an intelligence-led operation. Irabnakwe has more.
Addressing the press in Kumasi, Regional Police Commander DCOP Emmanuel Taekuju revealed one suspect was fatally shot during an exchange of gunfire with officers.
During the operation, one suspect sustained gunshot wounds during an exchange of fire with police officers and was later pronounced dead at the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital. Another suspect, identified as Yahaya Nuhu, remains at large and is being actively pursued by the police.
The gang allegedly broke into homes armed with pump-action guns and pistols, held entire families hostage, and made away with valuables including laptops, cash, mobile phones, and electronics.
During interrogation, suspect Kwejo Che Bafo confessed to participating in the robberies and admitted to committing a rape during one of the operations.
So far, 9 suspects have been arrested, including Kojoche Bafo, Bernard Ousu-Ansan alias Hot Boy, Joseph Opon alias Joe, and several accomplices. Police recovered stolen items and weapons, including multiple laptops, phones, television sets, 3 vehicles, several pistols, pump-action shotguns, ammunition, and face masks used during the operations.
Suspect Ousu-Ansan, who sustained gunshot injuries during the arrest, is currently under armed police guard at the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital. He led officers to the retrieval of additional weapons. All suspects are currently in lawful custody and will be arraigned before court in coming days.
The Ashanti Regional Police Command commended public cooperation and assured residents of continued efforts to ensure security.
The Ashanti Regional Police Command commends the public for its continuous cooperation and remains committed to ensuring peace, safety, and justice across the region.
For Joy News, Irabna Akwe, Kumasi.
Well, political authorities, traditional leaders, and diasporan guests gathered to mark the Central Regional launch of the 2025 Panafest, reaffirming a commitment to preserving and sustaining African heritage and promoting global solidarity. Under the theme, Let Us Speak of Reparative Justice, the Central Regional Director of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Charles Kweku Boabing, assured that the 33rd edition of the festival is focused on attracting global attention. Abigail Esel in Nkrumah has more in the following report.
The pains that we are creating, the self-inflicted pains that we are causing ourselves as Ghanaians, are more than what the so-called European cost us.
The 2025 Panafest, marked by the theme Let Us Speak of Reparative Justice, is slated from July 18, 2025 through to August 2, 2025. The festival, which has been in existence since 1992, serves as a somber reminder of the horrors of slavery, colonialism, and their lasting impacts on Africa. According to the Central Regional Director of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Charles Kweku Boabing, during the regional launch of Panafest, this year's edition has a global focus, urging the media to amplify the publicity of the festival.
Panafest 2025 promises to be embraced by people from all walks of life and nations of the world. We shall depend on the arts and theater to portray and create awareness about our lost connections. And we need for us to come together as one people of African descent. People from far and near are being called to participate in Panafest 2025. Currently, let me call on all of us, particularly the media, to intensify publicity about the festival so as to increase the number of international tourist arrivals in Ghana this 2025 through Panafest and other festivals.
This year's theme heightens the need for the restitution of Africa's painful history with slavery and colonialism. Rabbi Kohen Nathan Yahalevi is the executive director of the Panafest Foundation.
Africa and people of African descent deserve reparations now. And the narrative and the history of Africa and people of African descent must be told by Africans. Our case must be made, and the narrative must be changed. It is for that reason that Panafest chose this theme to highlight and to amplify those two messages. Pan-African artistic activism. Our artists and our creatives using their talent to change the narrative and to tell the story of Africa in their spoken word, in their song, in their rhythm, in their dance, and all the cultural expressions that we have been endowed with as a people, to put that to the operation and work of elevating the African race.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lissalin-Kroma reports for Joy News.
As we mark the beginning of the second half of the year, Ghana is set to observe a National Day of Thanksgiving today, led by Cardinal Peter Kojo, Apia-Texid, Chancellor of the Political Academies of Sciences and Social Sciences at the Vatican. The event aims to express gratitude to God for the peace and prosperity bestowed upon the nation. Upon arrival in Ghana, Cardinal Texin emphasized the importance of pausing to thank God for the gift of life, health, and prosperity.
Very glad to have been able to respond to the President's invitation to be here. So it's very much, ad rem, the need for all of us to feel so committed to the country as to be able to rejoice in every celebration of the country. And the first celebration of the Republic Day is different from independence, but it follows upon independence. It was one more stage, it's a reform of independence celebrated. Independence comes, and the Republic is a recognition of your taking charge of your own affairs and leading them and all. So the memory and the occasion of that is always a joyous occasion. And wanting to recognize God's place and God's role in all of this is a very commendable thing that we're all glad to support.
Chairman of the National Planning Committee, Elvis Afriye Ankra, emphasized thanking God is not just a religious obligation, but a way to acknowledge the blessings and mercies Ghana has received.
Preparations for the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving are well advanced across all the regions and districts. We are all set. The committee has also undertaken engagements with major faith leaders. I think we've called on all of them. And we've also called on the Chief Imam and other respected leaders within the Muslim community. The event is open to the general public. Sticker. All attendees are encouraged to be seated by 7 a.m. This one, you are coming to meet God. And you never know, your destiny can be changed. A blessing of that on that day can change your life. The statutory public holiday has been moved to Friday, 4th July, because we see some people are confused. Is the event going to be on Friday? No. The event is tomorrow, Tuesday, 1st July. However, the holiday will be on the 4th of July. So the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving will still be held tomorrow, Tuesday, 1st July, as scheduled.
Away from that, an environmental journalist and Love FM news editor, Kofi Edu Domfe, has been elected as the new Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Ghana Journalists Association. His victory follows a closely contested election held nationwide to select new regional and national executives for the association. Nana Boachi Yadom has more in the following report.
The election were part of the nationwide exercise by the Ghana Journalists Association to usher in a new crop of leaders, both national and regional levels, to steer the affairs of the association for the next term. Kofi Edudumfe, senior news editor at the Kumasi unit of the multimedia group, was elected as the new Ashanti regional chairperson of the GJA. His victory came after a keenly contested election to choose new regional and national executives for the association. Edudumfe, who is known for his strong advocacy for ethical journalism and climate change, will now lead the Ashanti regional chapter of the GJA after winning 16 votes, with his opponent obtaining 15 votes. In his campaign, he outlined 3-point vision focusing on continuous professional integrity, dignity in ethical practice, and accountability within the media fraternity in the region.
We give thanks to God for this opportunity to lead the Ashanti region as the chair of the Ghana Journalists Association. For me, it's teamwork. I have able secretary, able vice chair, and a treasurer who are going to support me to deliver on my mandate. In the first 100 days in office, our major intent is to increase, renew, and improve membership of the association. In the first 100 days, we're expecting that at least 100 people will be registered as new members of the association here in the Ashanti region, and we want to expand that going into the future. The second thing on our hearts as the new crop of leaders for the association is to ensure that we empower our members with the right skill set that they need to be qualitative journalists, be it bloggers, be it mainstream media practitioners, whoever is practicing in the name of media. One thing that is upon our hearts is to ensure that they have the right environment and the right mindset and the right attitude, the right skills to practice as journalists. And we are not looking at only media houses in the Kumasi or the city center. We want to look at the hinterland from Obuasi to Asante Achim to Mampong to Ofenso. All these people are essential in the scheme of affairs when it comes to qualitative journalism and expanding community journalism. So there are people that are on our heart, and we are going to ensure that anything we do as leaders, they are roped into our scheme of affairs.
After his victory, Kofi Edudumfe has pledged to ensure unity within the Ghana Journalists Association in the Ashanti region, with a lot more expected to take place during his tenure as chairman of the GJA in the region.
Another thing that we intend to pursue in our medium to long term is the resuscitation of our press center that we lost some few months ago. It was almost at the, it was a two-story story building actually, and it was at the roofing level. Before we knew, it was pulled down and the land had been sold or reallocated to a different developer. As unfortunate as it is, there was nothing we could do. But as our mandate as a new crop of leaders, we intend to pursue this from the Menshia Palace through to RCC to KMA. Anybody that matters in the region when it comes to issues of media and journalism, we want to engage them and see how best we can have a good space that we can call a press office or a press center to operate as media practitioners in the Ashanti region.
For Joy News, Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom, Kumasi.
And if you hear that sound, what does it tell you? The NSMQ is back and the competition is already heating up. Now, day one of the regional qualifiers saw some schools clinch emphatic victories while others bowed out in disappointment. Correspondent Collins Frimpong and Adobe Asari captured the highs and lows in the Bono and Western regional qualifiers.
I would say that our components were like snails if we compare it to Animal Kingdom. They were very slow for us.
It's It's a wrap for day one of the regional qualifiers of the 2025 National Science and Maths Quiz. 29 schools battled fiercely in 7 different contests across all 2 regional qualifiers, with 3 schools absenting. In the Western region, 3 emerged winners: Archbishop Porter Girls, Amenfiman Senior High, and Takwa Senior High School.
We knew victory would be ours at the end, and then God did it.
We are very happy we were able to win today.
Fijai, Adiambra and Ahantaman, though unable to win their respective contests, have still secured a spot in the national championship after crossing the 40-point qualification mark.
Even though we were not able to win, we were able to qualify.
Since it has ended that way, we are still hoping for the best.
4 schools from the Bono region have sealed their spots at the nationals. Brekum Presby Senior High School makes a big comeback after 7 years, while Methodist SHTS ends their 2nd national appearance.
In the field of atomic theorem and in the field of NSMQ, there is almost no prospect of detecting the pathogenic nature of PSEC until it is being used in an attack, and that is what we showed there.
Notre Dame girls stole the spotlight with a stunning 75 points, the highest of the day, securing their 9th straight qualification.
This is one of the best experiences in NSMQ for me this year, and it will always be. We are the record breakers.
The final contest of the day ended with Doma SHS securing a spot with 33 points. The regional qualifiers are just getting started. More schools are set to take the stage tomorrow, all hoping to book a spot in this year's national championship.
Let's do the business updates now, and what a way to start than to go to the currency market to find out what's happening. Now, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana is predicting stability of fuel prices at the pumps despite an earlier projection by the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies that petrol and diesel will go up by 2% and 5% respectively today, July 1. According to COPEC, the expected increase can be absorbed by the oil marketing companies on the back of the impressive run of the Ghana cedi. Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary of COPEC.
What the market should have probably been this current window and what we have it now, the deviations we have, you would realize that some of the consumers have paid as much as 5% higher already. And so to come back to add another 5%, I think will be unfair to all of us. We'll be watching, we'll be paying close attention to those companies that decide to be fair to us on prices tomorrow. And for those who decide, as it is, Pius, if you know, if you follow this sector, whenever there are supposed to be reductions, sometimes they go into the 2nd, the 3rd day of the window before they even adjust downwards. We'll be watching tomorrow to see how many of them will be in a hurry to adjust their pumps, upward. But from our indications, pumps could stay stable for this window, and there shouldn't be any issue at all.
The Ghana Revenue Authority has announced that key changes to the country's tax administration laws will come into effect from July 1, 2025, which is today. Now, among the significant updates are the introduction of a modified taxation scheme, the imposition of value-added tax on real estate transactions, and the extension of VAT to non-life insurance services. Here is a Business Desk report.
The modified taxation scheme introduces a flexible tax payment framework targeting micro, small and medium businesses across the country. This is in line with the Income Tax Act 2015, Act 896. Acting Commissioner General of the GRA, Anthony Kwesi-Sapong clarified in a recent media engagement that the scheme is not an additional tax, but a simplified method of calculating personal income tax for eligible traders and entrepreneurs. This initiative comes with multiple payment options, including mobile money, USSD code SAR222#, and bank deposits. The Special Voluntary Disclosure Program, known as the SVDP, which was rolled out in 2024, is also being deepened. This program provides an opportunity for citizens to voluntarily disclose incomes earned abroad, which they haven't paid tax on. VAT on rental of immovable property and the supply of immovable property by estate developers will also be implemented. This requires that all state developers charge a 5% VAT on the supply of immovable property. VAT on non-life insurance will also take effect. The combination of these measures represents a balanced approach to revenue generation.
Well, let's wrap up the business update with what is happening on the commodities market. Well, that's it for the AM News. Up next is the AM Sports with Muftau Abdullahi Nabila. Good morning.
Everyone, welcome to AM Sports here with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Former president of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Ibrahim Korte Nikwe, has attacked the National Sports Authority Director Yaw Ampofo-Ankra and the Sports Minister Kofi Adams, accusing them of influencing and manipulating the decision of a 7-member committee that was set up to investigate the demise of a Nigerian boxer during a fight at the Bukom Boxing Arena in March. According to him, Yaw Ampofo-Ankra and Kofi Adam cannot sideline anyone at the Ghana Boxing Authority.
As we sit here, it is a serious matter. That's why we are all here. I'm a politician, but I believe most of you are not politicians. I'm resigning because of His Excellency the President and also the party I belong to. But I'm not afraid of the Minister and the Director General at all. I cannot fight my own government and my own party. But I also encourage the Roger Bano and the board members I'm leaving behind that the NSA and the ministry have no right to set the GBA aside. They don't have that right. And if you people sit down for them to do this, then you are setting up a pace that will continue. They don't have right. You are an autonomous body. They have a reason why they want to do what they are planning to do. And I will encourage the boxers president, the board members, the NSA, and the minister have not right at all. They should not bring politics into sports. Sports is different and politics is different. So sports is sports. Politics should stay away. I'm a politician and they are having issue with me. That is why I'm staying away from the sports. So they should also stay away from the sports.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let us develop the sports. This thing happens at the GOC level. It happens at the weightlifting level. It happens at the judo, rugby level. They fought. The Ghana Boxing Authority and its stakeholders, you have to fight for your right. If you allow them to set you aside, tomorrow they'll come and set another body to aside. And it shouldn't start from you. Not at all. They have no right. If you look at the report, you realize that the people that they put in don't have the interest of the sport. Because somebody like Laura Peter-Swinis was part of the people who drafted this. And I was shocked that he sat there, a former president, knowing that the GBA is an autonomous body, yet to say they should set them aside. For who to come?
He also declared war on former sports minister Neelante van der Poel and the current minister Kofi Adams, saying that he will fight them.
And the National Sports Authority, they know what they have done. If they are honorable men, by this time they should be resigning. Yes. But once again, I'll say that they should leave our sports alone. This committee report, those of you media men, you come here. There was another side of it where they said, we have done over 92 fights since I came to office, which has never happened before. Here. Yet the committee report captured that the woman who is here, the snitch woman, who is here, what is her name? Aqua Harrison, put in this report that we give we to the ladies who sell here to sell for us. In this report. And you, the minister, you should at least invite us. 92 events. Police people are here all the time. Your own security is here. Your operation team is always here. You have never arrested anybody. And somebody like this come and testify such a thing. And you need no question us to find out what he's saying is true or not. But because you have your own agenda, you say you are setting GBA board aside. You don't have right, Kofi Adams. You don't have that right. As I said, I'm a politician and we'll fight. I'll fight you and Neelante, but I don't want to fight through the Ghana boxing. I want to leave the sports alone. Then as a politician, I'll come and fight you guys.
We move from boxing, normal, they throw punches, so it is easy for them to fight. But let's go to the field. Let's go to the football park, where House of Oak have confirmed the appointment of former Kumasi Asante Kotoko head coach Gigi Dramani as the leader of their technical team. He says one of the things he wants to do is to build a playing identity for the Phobians.
Try to understudy the vision of the board, which is the direction of the club, and trying to institute a clear direction with consistency and sustainability. And we'll try as much as possible to put in place a more progressive development approach. And so we acknowledge what had been instituted over these years. It is for us to keep the consistency and keep improving structures, more importantly, very comprehensive technical programs that will improve individuals and also the team. will build a culture of a winning inhabitants within the club, and that is part of the processes that is going to affect from a shorter term to a longer term objectives, and I believe that we have what it takes to be able to bring these functions into play.
Didi Dramani speaking there during his unveiling at the Accra House of a Commercial Center on Monday. Now to another exclusive interview Joy Sports has put together. My colleague Abdul Karim Benin has been speaking to Musa Mohammed, and that interview will be coming your way on Wednesday. But before that, let's hear from the young man who says that after playing in the Turkish league, he's got the qualities to play in any other league in the world.
You see, Turkish Super League is one of the difficult leagues. Yeah, it's one of the difficult leagues. You see, most of the players, when they are at the end of their career, that's when they come to finish everything. As you say, right now, there's this Larisane is in Galatasaray right now. So you can see the league is kind of, you know, big players, and also you got a lot of experience, you know. And for me, I may say for me to be able to play in the Super League, yeah, I think I don't think I can play in any league outside Turkey. I don't think I can play.
So they just concluded season. Which game would you say is the most?
You can catch the full interview here on the AM show on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Let's do some football development. In Techiman, one park that is noted for producing some of the best talents in the country, including the likes of Kamal Dean, is currently disabled, and the people in the area are calling on authorities to develop the park. My colleague, Anas Sabit, has details in this report.
The Gaskia Salah Gala isn't just a tournament. It is a Techiman institution. For 9 years running, Gaskia FM, the only Joy FM affiliate in the region, has used the beautiful game during Eid to bring Muslim communities together and shine a light on raw talent right here in Bono East. From Saturday to Monday, thousands packed this iconic Zongo Ele Park, a testament to its power. The mission, crystal clear: foster peace, build unity, and unearth the next generation of football heroes. And judging by the sea of faces and deafening cheers, the message resonates deeply. This park pulsed with pure, unadulterated football passion. And the champions of this 9th edition, Bash Brothers Motors, they fought hard for this victory. Let's hear what this means to them.
Feeling here very massive. They are also proud to tournament here. No be idea off. Bash Brothers. Obi asi yedwe but ye ba no obi ahu ye. Ohe ye branding, your technical members in your playing body, any your supporters obi a branding no na say we were very poised for action. Tournament we get here gala the minimum.
And dazzling the crowds all weekend was this man, Opoku, nicknamed Pogba, crowned player of the tournament. Her skill lit up the pitch.
Oh, Gaskia Gala there, Fibia, Tibabia Mobia, Metegaskia Gala, the same movie. Because any journey too high, any journey, Obia baby. Oh, Bia baby, you'll be known to yes, ba. Yes, the confidence in Bia, the so be on TSA, but Bomo Bia.
But amidst the celebrations, a crucial call echoes from the champions camp led by their coach, Prince Educhum, aptly nicknamed Coach Okocha. He looks at this historic ground, the very soil that nurtured stars like Hamin Dramani and current Black Stars forward Kamaldeen Suleimana, and sees untapped potential.
Aki, the Benyan campaign phone to an among Cassia Pan for Park Miss of my because Park Wayne Kwan a Parker, a chidom, Emma the Pashabo and Casancasa with Tichman Krum because special as our Mutuquine Eba, Haya and some Bobono. Your food will be the Bray, but Haya no Mutusu. So, same for 2 and among a park in Maya, you did say, Eba Matchman so up a year to Ponsedia institution.
We'll wrap up with highlights of matches that were played in the FIFA Club World Cup. Just before that, the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament is happening on August 9, 2025. And if you're out there and you want to register as an organization, it's for corporate institutions. So if your corporate organization wants to register, get in touch with us via 054-010-6466 or come to the front desk of Joy FM, pick up a form and sign up, or go on myjoyonline.com and download the form to register to be part of this year's Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. It is going to be happening at the University of Ghana Stadium. Now,
around the world on myjoyonline.com across Ghana's 16 regions, this is the Joy News channel, and you're welcome back to the AM show. It's time now to review the newspapers. But before we do that, a gentle reminder that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties, providing quality housing at affordable costs with flexible payment options. Before I introduce my guest to you, I want to tell you more about Waylead, because if you're thinking of a rewarding investment you can engage in, then Waylead Company Limited is your preferred choice for such investment. Waylead Company Limited is a real estate company with several developments to its credit in Accra. You want to invest in a new development, Willow Lane, where elegance will always meet tranquility in the heart of Accra. We provide quality housing, like I mentioned, affordable costs with flexible payment option. In addition to 24 hours power supply and security, reliable power supply, and other social amenities to make your stay a memorable one. Give us a call now on these numbers, 0240-111-119 or 0504-499-999. You can also visit our website at www.waylead.org for more information. Who's joining us for News Review this morning? Dr. Joshua Jebuti Zato. He's Senior Lecturer, Policy and Political Analyst at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon. We also have Nelson Kofi Jabab. He's Member of Parliament for Karachi East constituency, and of course our very own Afel Moni, former President of the GJA. And he's in studio with me this morning. So good morning, Mr. Moni.
Good morning, sweetie.
How are you?
Fine. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Yesterday we went to the polls.
Certainly, yes.
I won't know what you made of the outcomes. It looks like we retained Albert Jumfo. But Rebecca Ekpe, who we interviewed on the AM show, is now the Vice President
yes.
of GJA.
That's
Let's
a
get
very
some
high
reflections
elevation.
on that.
So I'll seize the opportunity to indulge Sami JP in particular and those who keep safe, who keep our gold resources, to fetch a substantial quantity to sprinkle on Albert Kwabena for retaining his seat as president. You also mentioned Rebecca, my mentee.
She's your mentee?
Yes, Rebecca is my mentee and my daughter. And Rebecca has been elevated from the organizing secretary to the vice president. I believe she's eyeing the presidency, and it's a matter of time. I believe with the confluence of time, Rebecca can assume the presidency. Better Bedu AJ, treasurer, and Zadok. Zadok is now the organizing secretary. We also have Dominic Clorgy, from organizer to the general secretary. And the general secretary, is the nerve center of GJ activities. So congratulations to all those who made it yesterday.
Okay.
And I think we also need to salute the candidate who challenged for Charles Mausi. Indeed, he put up a cut and thrust performance, given the limited time frame he had to cause an upset. But GJ elections, follow a different pattern. It's not about not necessarily about your linguistic mastery or vision, but the dynamics are different. The best repeating. And let me say that the victory for Abedjufo did not come as a fluke. It's not a flash in the pan. Abed went into the election with an incumbency advantage, and a huge one. And he benefited maximally from name recognition. His name has been all over the place, having been exposed as organizing secretary, president, and now the re-elected president. And name recognition goes with voter familiarity. He, apart from the fact that his name is superior as compared with Mausi, the voters, he also is very familiar with the voters, and he knows what goes into their mind, what they need to win the election. We can also look at his organizational acumen. Our peerless first president, Kwame Nkrumah, once said, it's best repeating that organization decides everything. So his team really organized. Yesterday I saw a bus which brought voters from other media houses.
I see.
Yeah, it was part of the organization.
Okay.
And it didn't offend any electoral law. And so kudos to his organizational acumen. And of course, resources. In terms of resources, the other camp did not come near the Abed camp. The electoral machinery was well oiled, and no wonder it was able to clinch the overwhelming, the emphatic, the decisive victory they chalked up yesterday. Abed has gone on air to say that we should expect a different GJ is going to consolidate his gains, and he's going to take GJ to a different level. We wish him well, but at the same time, we need to remind him that Ghanaian journalists will match his promise against his delivery.
True.
Even though he's not seeking re-election, but history is a guy. Now, history doesn't forget. And we pray that he will etch his name in the history of GJ, in the history of this country.
Right.
The other side of the elections, which we can look at. But,
well, I want to congratulate Kofi Edub-Domfe.
Yes, in Ashanti
region.
He defeated Georgina Amankuma by a single vote. By a single vote.
So Albert, our Upper East regional correspondent, he also won. And so we're excited. We are celebrating some people here from the multimedia group.
Certainly, yes.
So, yeah.
And we expect some like Sweetie Abuchi to offer herself for election.
Not part of my immediate goals right now, but yes, I mean, as some time goes on, we'll see whether or not I step into that arena of power.
I was looking at the other side of the election. And before the election, so many allegations were bandied about voter. Many voters, it was alleged that many voters were captured by cash and other form of inducement. And Dr. Kenna Shube amplified these concerns and said they are not good for the, they do not paint a picture, right picture for journalists, because we are expected to be, above reproach by virtue of the fact that we occupy the fourth branch of the tripartite government. We exercise oversight responsibility of other branches, and as the saying goes, if gold rust, what will iron do? So the time has come to take a long and hard look at how best to sanitize the media election to ensure that money does not hold sway, but competence and character will be the most determining factors.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moni. And it's a good time to welcome the legislator among us into the conversation. Nelson Kofi-Jabab is Member of Parliament for Kratchi East constituency. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you.
We're just discussing the just ended GJA elections.
Yeah.
And as former president of the GJA, it's only fitting that we hear his reflections. But it's your time now. What has caught your attention all weekend leading up to this moment that you want to reflect on before we get into the papers?
Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to former president of DGA, Mr. Afamoni. And I think over the week, what dominated was the elections.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it's also congratulate them on that peaceful and democratic process they went through. I heard that DS was not like characterized by.
I want to. I'll come back to you. I think we have some technical issue with your microphone, so our audience can't hear you, and we want them to get the best of you.
Oh.
So let me just read out the headlines for my paper and give us time to fix yours. So I have the Hawk newspaper. I think I'll be fielding some stories for myjoyonline.com. There are many stories on there this morning that I think we should get into. But the Hawk paper is carrying the story: excavator invasion, 3,000 seized, 2,000 still sailing in. And Araba lied on Edu Lodge, according to Oliver Bakavamo. He said on the 1982 murders. And Fadi flames NPP's School of Chopology. I think they just coined that word. Party's ideology is rewarding idiots over loyal foot soldiers. So these are stories you can find on the front page of the Hawk newspaper. University of Ghana COVID ban for students, red carpet for NPP. And the controversy begins. Oheneba dumps XYZ, joins NPP for cash. Mr. Moni, what stories do you have on your front page?
This is the overseer, Mahama to launch Gold Board Task Force on July 8 to combat smuggling. And the paper is quoting Sami Jemfi, the acting CEO. 3 stolen state vehicles retrieved from former GHOC MD Marcel Kofi Juma. This coming from the CID director. Gold Board new license takes effect, old ones revoked. Again, the paper is quoting Sami Jemfi. Africa must chart its own course. Sustainable growth. The finance minister, Ato Forsen, is again being quoted here. Enrique Poko secures FAO support to deepen Ghana's agricultural transformation agenda. And Zoomlion deploys 200 new trucks to tackle waste management nationwide. This is the overseer.
Okay, so before we get into the paper proper, let's hear out our legislator, Mr. Jabab.
On my front page?
Yeah. No, you were going to tell us something that you're reflecting on. I think you started by saying it was a GJ election that dominated.
The GJ election that dominated.
Yeah.
And I congratulated them on the free and fair election they organized. And it was not characterized by any acrimony, monocracy, and we said
well, there were rumors, I mean, there were some stories.
There were rumors, but there were things that could be overlooked. There were not so much, this is so once again.
They can be consigned to the dustbin of history, but
yes, congratulations on the successful elections.
But it's guarding against any tendency to capture voters by money.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, at this level, at the level of GJ, I get the point you made earlier that because of the role we play as the fourth estate, these things sort of mar our credibility.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Jabab. So that's that.
I'm done. That's that.
Okay, thank you. So what do you have on your front page?
On my front page, I had the NLA donates 100,000 Ghana cedis to tidal wave victims. Then Professor Ajimandua replies GTEC. Then police arrest Kofi Juma over stolen vehicles, and he is granted 500,000 Ghana cedis bail. Then 4 Chinese galamseers arrested with pump action guns. Then we have Fagati reconsider justice, token suspension, GBA.
Yeah, that has been met with some divided arguments.
Yeah.
Whether or not that call is something that lies in the hands of the GBA president to make, whether or not the president even has the power to do that. But let's discuss that. Let's start there. Let's get a bit of details out there on that story. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's inside the newspaper.
Yes, in the newspaper, page 3.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yes, please, yeah.
So the National President of the Ghana Bar Association, Govt, has reiterated the call on President John Dramani Mahama to reconsider the suspension of Justice Gertrude Tokono as Chief Justice amidst the probing of 3 petitions calling for her removal. Then, speaking at a church service held in Accra in memory of the 3 High Court judges and a retired military officer who were abducted and murdered in 1982, she reiterated the call for the judiciary from political and all other forms of interference.
Right.
According to her, an independent judiciary in its true sin is a bulwark for all who seek justice,
right,
and should be jealously protected.
Right.
Thank
So, I mean, she's asking the president to, reconsider the suspension of the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
And what do you make of that call? That the president of the GBA is saying that she's indicated that it's the duty of the GBA to protect judges, and she's describing this beacons of justice. I'm quoting her now from political interference. It sounds like they think what's happening now has some constitutional infractions, and the president can actually reconsider, in the spirit of reconciliation, she said, that they should reconsider the suspension and bring the suspended Chief Justice back. Mr. Moni, is this a call that we should heed? And should she be making a call like this in the first place?
I think one does not need any superfluity or prophecy to predict that this appeal will not fly. It can never move the needle as far as this case is concerned. Given the background of the stance taken by the Chief Justice recently when he went public with her concerns. Of course, she has the freedom to ventilate whatever bothers her, but the manner and the platform she chose, and the way the full complaints were couched struck some wrong course, which I believe has also deepened the stance of officialdom to allow the law to take its course. We are in a dispensation of rule of law and not the rule of men. And inside dispensation, the law should be allowed to follow due process. So due process is in the name of the game as far as her case is concerned. So we should allow the case to go to its logical conclusion, but at the same time appealing that justice should be seen to be done. Justice and nothing but justice. Because anything which will infract the law will haunt us as a nation. The whole world is watching. Ghana is watching. History is also watching. And our history is replete with so many cases of injustices, not to mention the murder, the most tragic circumstances of 3 High Court judges and a soldier. So in going through the merits of this case, please, we should ensure that nothing but justice is served. Anything to the contrary will haunt us and the best repeating us.
I think that's what she's saying, that it's not personality driven, that they have the mandate to protect our constitution, these judges and all. And so if we proceed the way we are going, according to her, we'll be setting a bad or poor precedent, which might come and bite us in the back sometime in the future. But let me hear Mr. Jabab on this as well.
Thank you. Right like Mr. Moni said, I feel in the rule of law, we are all equal before the law. Whether the judges, whether the citizens, whether the military, we are all equal before the law. And in that case, Justice Araba Tokono is a Ghanaian, for that matter. And though she's a judge, and of course, the CJ, she's not above the law. And from my point, you ask, let us see the process that is ongoing. Has the president in any way, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, breached the Constitution. If you look at the steps so far, the Constitution says that in Article 146, specifically Clause 6, outlines that if this happens, a committee shall be constituted. The committee was constituted. Now, the committee is to recommend to the president.
The lawyers are arguing that Article 146 in itself has some, like they'll call it lacuna, you know, there are some gaps in there that it's not only coming to light now, but because it's the first time that we are using this to remove a sitting Chief Justice, that's where really the problem is. But you can continue your submission before I bring in our third guest.
Fine. So, if that is the case, mind you, the president does this upon the advice of the Council of State. The reason said the president just takes this decision, that's final. The president does this upon the advice of the Council of State. And Council of State is an institution where you cannot undermine the credibility of the personalities that are serving on the Council of State. Of course, you can even have a former Chief Justice represented on the Council of State. So how then?
Like we do right now.
Yeah, like we do right now. How can one then think that these able-minded bodies are not able to advise the president well? In any case, the process is ongoing. The committee has not ended its work. No report has been submitted. But I look at, there were some usage of some phrases like to score, it was being done to score some points and all that.
Because of the political coloration, we had members...
I disagree.
Who said that they would remove the Chief Justice, you know, so that sets the tone for the opposition to also argue the way they're doing.
I don't argue because these people do not have any issues to score. You look at the way the two office holders, the direction they are coming from. His Excellency John Mahama is clearly the head of what? The executive. Justice Araba Tokonu is the head of who? The judiciary. The president unanimously or overwhelmingly, let me use the word, overwhelmingly elected by Ghanaians. She is an appointee. She was appointed. She was referred to the parliament. The parliament vetted her. They referred her. The appointment was confirmed. She's our Chief Justice. We adore her. We respect her for that. Now, there hasn't been any rift. If you look at the proceedings of the national administration, there hasn't been any rift between these two big personalities of our land. So to say that one is doing this to score issues, to score points, I don't agree.
Okay.
And I find it difficult if I should agree. I feel that the president is rendering his constitutional mandate, and we should allow him do that because...
Here's another angle of the conversation.
Yes.
The suspended Chief Justice said that, as we speak, she doesn't even know exactly what they are hearing her on. The petition, she doesn't have those. In that presser she granted last week. And that is the arguments they are making, that it's, breaks the laws of natural justice. Give the person a chance to also respond to some of these things. And it is based on her responses. You compare the responses to the allegations or accusations before you can determine a prima facie case. But let's pause here. Let me introduce Dr. Joshua Zebuntie Zato. Did I get your name right?
No.
No? Please tell me. How do you pronounce it?
It's J. You said Z. It's Joshua Jebuntie.
Jebuntie Zato.
No. Jebuntie.
Jebuntie.
Zato.
Zato.
It's Joshua Jebuntie Zato.
I'm going to stick with Dr. Zato.
That's good too.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's good to have you. I think this is our first time. This is my first encounter with you.
Yeah. This is actually my first time in the whole of Multimedia Place. So I got lost. I got into traffic on my way here. So Apologies for coming late and apologies for coming late.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah, but finally I've made it.
Yes, you made it. And just for our audience, you're a senior lecturer, policy and political analyst at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, Legon.
Yes, please. The
So
premier political science department in the country. One of the leading in the country. No, we must say that.
Well, we want to get into your mind and understand some of the things that have sparked national debate. So it's good to have you here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, we're just discussing, the ongoing hearing or the ongoing processes to either remove the Chief Justice or bring her back. Currently, she's on suspension. Yeah. Opposition has their own arguments. The incumbent government or members of the administration also have their own arguments. What do you make of all the arguments pouring in so far? It's the first time we're hearing you on this.
Okay. Once again, thank you very much, and good morning to my co-panelists, and good morning to those listening. I just came in briefly, but I heard the Honorable MP, right, making some arguments. If you sit back and you look at this whole CJ brouhaha, there's a very simple argument that some people are making, that the previous government under Akufo-Addo removed Charlotte Osei. And so this NDC2 is removing this woman. So case closed. You can make that very simplistic argument. I'll call it a quantitative argument. 1-1. You remove this, I remove this, that's all. You can make that quantitative argument. So if that is the argument we are making, then we know that there's nothing else to add. There's nothing else to add to the argument. You remove one woman, I remove one woman, you go. But I see that argument as lazy. And then the people say, okay, when this woman was removed, you said nothing. Or when this woman was removed, nobody said anything. So why are you saying anything now? That's a very lazy quantitative argument. Because there's a better qualitative argument to be made. That Charlotte Osei and Justice Tokonu are not the same. Charlotte Osei was a member of the executive. He served under the office of the president or under the executive, the EC and everything. Justice Tokonu is a co-equal member of government. She is the head of the judiciary. When we talk about the arms of government in Ghana, we say they are equal. There are three arms of government: the executive, legislature, and the judiciary. The executive, of course, led by the president and the vice president. They head it. The parliament, legislature led by what? The speaker of parliament. And then the judiciary led by what? The chief justice. We say they are equal arms of government and equal. There was once a debate in parliament. I've said this, that the speaker of Bagbin had to remind the majority leader, I am number 3, what's your number? Yeah. He was making a very important point. He was saying that is my position in the constitution. That is my hierarchy. Where's your hierarchy? So Justice Tokonu is number 4 in Ghana. Yeah. What is the position of Justice Charlotte Osei? So you cannot compare those two. You cannot. That's the first thing I want to say. So that so when we are talking about Charlotte, Justice Tokonu, we are talking about removing a co-equal arm of the government. That should carry more weight and more significance than removing another arm of the government. They are two different. In fact, it's even different from removing Domilevo. It's different from what, because again and again, none of them are a co-equal arm of government. That's the first thing. Second,
that's a good foundation. But tie it into what the president of the GBA is saying, Ifwagati.
I'm coming, exactly. You see, sometimes we're also being told that this process is so that the president is just a conveyor belt. He just does this and he goes. The question, even in a conveyor belt, there is a force that moves the belt from one place to another. There's a force. If you look at this process, that force is a political force. It's not a legal force. There are issues that are legal. You consider, yeah, these are legal. But the forces that moves them, what moves it from one state to another, they are political, not legal. One, you receive a petition. And the Constitution says, send the petition to the Council of State. That is a legal provision. You must submit it to the Council of State, right? But the Constitution doesn't tell how fast or how quick you send it to the Council of State. It's a political decision. It's discretion of the president. So the president can receive a petition this morning, send it to the Council of State this morning. He can receive a petition today, send it to the Council of State next week. He can receive a permission today and send it in 2 years. I mean, I hope there's a lawyer, he can tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So the decision as to how fast to submit that petition is a political decision. Number 2, the question then is, the decision as to make, how to make this public is, so he said the Council of State determines.
Right, go ahead.
So the Council of State says that we have either made a prima facie or we've not made a prima facie. Sends the report to the president. That's what the Constitution says. What the president does with it is also political. The president can decide to make it public. Akufo-Addo did it in the case of the same Tokunu. When the Council of State came out with their decision, he published it. You can disagree with Akufo-Addo's legal reasoning. You can disagree with how he got there, but you know how he got there.
Was it with Charles?
No, it was
there
with
were some
Tokunu.
Petitions.
There was a petition. He made it public. And that is one of the reasons why the Chief Justice is talking about. You are saying I should come and face a defense, but I don't know how Council of State got to guilty. I don't know how they got to that decision.
Well, not guilty. Just
I mean, saying that we found a further case.
Yeah, it's just reason to probe further.
Exactly, but they said they don't. She doesn't know how they got there. There were a number of petitions. Did they get to a prima facie on all of them? What were their legal reasoning? So if I'm preparing my defense, isn't it important for me to know? For instance, there was something about impress. She said, "Look, you gave me 12,000 impress. I spent about 5,000. I returned the rest of the money." What did the Council of State say about that? For instance, just take that. What did they say about that? So if I'm coming to defend myself, how should I prepare for that particular? She doesn't know. So she's walking in blindly. That is what she's saying. She's walking in blindly to face a committee that already has. So the committee knows how the Council of State got to that. The committee knows the Council of State legal reasoning for that. But she doesn't know. But she's the one facing the committee. Akufo-Addo made that
at some
public.
point in the processes, she's going to know.
But
yes?
at some point, why doesn't she know that she can prepare her defense? It's her defense. Listen, it's her defense. It's nobody else's defense. It's not the committee's defense. It's not Council of State defense. It's not the president. It's her defense. She's fighting for her job. Shouldn't she know what she's fighting for? Number 3, the GBA says this process is unfair to her. They keep saying it. Yesterday, you heard them say it. It's not only the GBA. Other international bodies have said so. In fact, Parliament, he's a member of Parliament. The majority leader has come and said there are certain provisions in the current law that needs to be reviewed. That were not fair. But don't worry, we are going to use those unfair provisions, those unfair whatever it is, to finish this case. Then when we finish, we'll go back to Parliament and make it better. Why? So we are going to use the bad medicine for this woman. When she's gone, we will now go back and bring a better medicine for the next Chief Justice. I am saying that these are all political. So, yes, the law is there. There are the things that are illegal. But if you keep looking, and we can go on and on, you begin to then realize that the politics is woven and laced into it. And that the fate of this woman is sealed and doomed.
Here's the question, while we sum up this, because we have a number of things to discuss. The question is simply, are there constitutional infractions? Are they breaching the law? Are the people who constitute this Poman committee probing the whether the prima facie case, probing the petitions brought against them, are they all doing this on political lines rather than legal lines? Like you established a clear difference between
No, the point I'm trying to make is that they are interwoven.
So from the Council of State to the committee probing this matter to even the current acting Chief Justice.
Exactly.
Are you saying that we are all on while we are using this flawed Article 146 to remove?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what the Ghana Bar Association is saying.
Okay, and what are you saying?
The Ghana Bar Association is saying they are all looking on what is happening. What's the name? Other associations have said that. She herself has said that they are all looking on what is going on.
Okay, hold on.
So yes,
we understand what the GBA is saying. I'm asking you as a political analyst. What are you saying?
So if you look at the preponderance of all this evidence, if you look at this, then you realize that it is a predetermined case. That the woman will be removed, she would go and will have a new chance.
So that's what you make of it.
Yes.
You wanted to say something, Mr. Jabab.
What I was saying is that where I disagree with Ghana Bar Association is that they are seeing it as issues to settle some scores. And which scores are they settled? That was why I came from the angle that you look at the two personalities involved or the institutions involved. This is an executive, this is a judiciary. So what then is common between them? What scores are they settling? And I try to dig back from the two persons where there have ever been any meeting point of these two individuals. No, practically no. So it's unfortunate, Doctor says some people are linking it to the removal of Charlotte Osei. Well, I don't know.
Oh, but that's an argument.
I don't know. It's an argument there. It's an argument, but I don't know. I don't have the details of it. And I don't think this petition has nothing to link to the removal of Charlotte Osei.
Okay.
No.
So I mean, Dr. Zato, you say that it's a predetermined case.
Yeah.
And they are bent on using this flawed Article 146 to remove the Chief Justice, the current suspended Chief Justice, before they can talk about fixing it.
Yes.
On the background of, we know there's a constitutional review process going on. And Mr. Jabab, you're saying that you don't see where that argument stands, or
yes,
because there is no, you don't have any history between the current head of the executive and the current suspended Chief Justice, for which reason we should say this is a vendetta that they're just trying to
exactly. And I've not seen any breach. I've not seen any
wait, hold
so
on,
far in the
gentlemen,
process.
gentlemen.
I've not seen any breach of the Constitution anywhere.
Thank you. I want Mr. Money to break the tie for us. You have the final word on this matter.
It is not within the bounds of possibility to cite politics as the underlying factor in the Charles Osei and Chief Justice Arabatokonu's case. Politics decides everything. But in playing politics with issues of supreme national importance, we should ensure that we stick to the law, that whatever we do does not infringe the dictates of the law. At the end of the day, justice must be served, and served to the admiration and acceptance of the generality of Ghanaians. Most of them, we take the other Ghanaian for granted, but they can read me through the lines. Sometimes when you read some of the some rulings by certain judges, and then you wonder whether, what went into such rulings. And the same with football. If you are addicted to football, sometimes a referee might have gone to a trainee, FIFA licensed referee, but a referee can take a bad decision, which will be seen by all as something which does not cannot be justified in any circumstances. So again, the plea goes to whoever the committee which is handling the case, ensure that there's no miscarriage of justice as far as her probe is concerned. Okay,
thank you so much. Now, yesterday, news came in that Gold Board has revoked all gold trading licenses issued under the former PMMC regime. And that has also been met with so many arguments back and forth. They are saying that you can still apply, but if you are not licensed by the Ghana Gold Board, you are committing a crime if you buy gold or engage in any form of gold trading. And I'm actually reading the story from myjoyonline.com, so you can also go there and read it for yourself. Now, he emphasized that we would no longer continue to respect the licenses issued under the old regime. And what is important for us to note is that we are not saying you cannot apply because the deadline has elapsed. Anyone who wants to trade in gold can apply for a Gold Board license at any time. So whereas they've revoked the licenses issued under the PMMC regime, they're not saying that the window is closed. If you still want to trade, engage, buy gold in Ghana, you just come to the Gold Board for the licenses. Let me start with you, Dr. Zato. How did this news come to you?
Sometimes we make policies in this country, and then some of them are solutions looking for problems, others are problems looking for solutions. And then you find this policy obfuscation and policy confusion that sometimes you begin to have. There was a regime under the PMMC. People had licenses. So when you come in as a new agency, the first thing you do is not to cancel all those licenses. Now, the moment you do that, you are putting another burden on those already licenses. It's probably true that there were some people who were abusing or misusing their licenses. It's also true there were some people who probably got their license through what? Illegal means. Or when using the So what you do is that you try to get to the middle. You review those licenses. You call and you review them. And then you say, look, license A, B, C, D, you are being a good corporate participant. You are being a good corporate citizen. Your license is maintained. B, A, B, C, D, you need to update it, or you need to do this to bring it apart. What I mean is that you review the policy comprehensively with the objective of making it clear. If you don't do that, and the first instance you do is to clear all licenses, and now you are putting a further burden on these businesses to now reapply under a new regime and the new laws that they themselves now have to learn, you are increasing the cost of doing business. The transaction cost is increasing. And it's probably because of that that some of them now are unable to meet the new requirements. Now, if you make the burden of compliance difficult, you lessen the burden of what? Non-compliance. You make it easier for people not to comply. So if these people are already in the business of gold, if they know how to export gold, how to do this, and you are revoking their licenses, what do you think they're going to do? Stop exporting gold?
So first, you say you're making the cost of doing business expensive.
Yes, difficult.
But we all understand why the gold board had to be, birthed.
Yes, we don't understand why. It was a political decision to make a policy. I understand that. It's public policy. No. Understand. There was PMMC. We were not told what is wrong with PMMC. I don't know. Have they told you? Nobody has told us what is wrong with PMMC. But I understand that too. You are making a new policy. You want it to be a new vehicle to achieve specific national objectives. I understand that.
Okay.
But so far, nobody has told us that this was what was wrong with PMMC, so we need to bring gold board to fix it. That argument, nobody has made it yet.
Okay.
I don't know, unless somebody here can tell me why. That there was what was wrong with PMMC, and why do we need a complete new vehicle to do this? Nobody has yet made that cogent argument. I've not seen it. But nevertheless, it's a government policy. I respect policy. I know government makes policy. So, if you now do that policy, and they're already, and this is always the problem. There's a reason why, listen, when you are recruited into the police service or any of the security agencies, they don't easily fire you, especially after you've gone through the training. Because if you are a soldier, you've gone through the training, you're already, for want of a better way, a killing machine. You know how to shoot. If you are thrown out there, what are you going to do? So these people already know how to export gold. So this, they already know. So whether you revoke, if you revoke their license, they will go underground. So find a way. My argument is that we should still open wide a net. We need an umbrella, a big umbrella solution to still keep bringing them together, to still keep offering them a number of carrots. I don't think the time is too short. We can afford a year of more carrots to them, to cobble them in, to lure them in, to bring them into compliance. Because sometimes if you go the nuclear option, they will go underground. And when they go underground, you miss your policy objectives.
Thank you for that. I'm trying to get the details because I remember reading something about the reason why we need gold board. I want to get the details before I respond to you. But let me hear Mr. Jabab's thoughts on this. In terms of whether or not this is indeed going to make the cost of doing business expensive for those who had their licenses under the PMMC regime.
The gold board came in to regularize the gold trade, as we saw from the beginning. And with that, when the gold board kick-started, you realize that the revenue that the gold board started to rake in is something that's encouraging. We were told that either to the coming in of gold board, Ghana lost revenue in terms of gold trade to the tune of $2 billion in a year. So these are the issues that gold board came in to address. The issue of smuggling of gold, illegal way of trade. Now gold board came to formalize this trade. You want to trade with Ghana in the area of gold? Come through gold board. Come through the formal process. Let's do business. Now, what has the CEO said? He's saying that even that you have not made a deadline, the room is still open for you. You are still welcome. If you want to trade in gold, you want to, acquire license and become an off-taker, you want to acquire license and do what kind of business, as far as gold trading is concerned, let's trade in a legal, in a formal way. That is going to help build the country we want. That is going to reset the agenda of the government for Ghana. Therefore, coming, nobody is banned out of, let's say, in the gold business. No, the opportunity is still there. You want the license, come. You can still have the license. So to me, this is a call in the right direction.
Okay, so, PMMC was a limited liability company. And Gold Board, in contrast, is a statutory corporation created under the Ghana Gold Board Act, which meant that PMMC had limited powers to oversee everything in the gold or mining. Let's limit it to gold, first of all, sector. It meant that now Gold Board has exclusive authority to grade, assay, weigh, value every gold that we generate or mine from this country. PMMC didn't have that. In terms of combating smuggling and enhancing oversight, PMMC could not do that diligently or comprehensively. They had limited powers. In terms of formalization of small-scale mining, Gold Board is now tasked to support legal ASM activities. In terms of this PMMC did have. So I'm saying there are some issues or there are some limitations that PMMC had, for which reason they couldn't oversee comprehensively and what the mining sector or the gold that was coming in from this country. And in terms of helping to actually show up our gold reserves, which was pivotal to, or should I say, the backbone of our economy. PMMC.
I'm not disagreeing.
No,
with
you're saying what? Why did they?
Yes,
move
I'm saying that
that's why I said I want to get the details before we.
There was a law that established PMMC.
So,
you could easily amend the law to give it the powers. As simple as that, you could do that.
Right. No, that's an argument you can make.
So that's we are making the same.
Reasons
Plus,
why.
we are talking about shoring the gold. Those was that the gold for oil, did all the shoring. Currently, almost all, about 30 tons or whatever, was all done under the gold for oil money managed under the PMC. I'm saying that, look, if you want to do you want to come up with a new policy, that's okay, that's fair. Governments do it all the time.
Is it right or wrong that we have now a single legally empowered entity that centrally controls the gold reserves or the gold that we mine?
It's not about right or wrong. You could have done that. You could have empowered PMC.
It's a three-step question. So let's do this. It's a three-step question.
Okay.
Is it good for us that we have a single legally empowered entity now that takes full control of our gold, gold in this country? Does it all go well for us? You can even, compare to just the 6 months in this administration, what they have done compared to the
what I've done.
years.
I don't know what I've done. What have they done so far in terms of accumulation of gold? The PMMC accumulated more gold than what we've done. If you take
well, you're comparing years.
No. If you go on that tangent, I'm making the point. You are not. I don't know. You are probably that. Look, a new government says we are going to make a new policy to do this. I respect that.
Okay.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. You've done it, but I'm saying they say all the flaws you've said existed, right? You could have amended the law establishing PMC to do the same thing. You could have done that. If you realize that PMMC did not have teeth to do this, you could give them teeth. If you realize that PMMC did not have this, you give them. I'm saying that is another option. So the government had two options.
So is it your problem changing from
I don't have a problem actually. No, I don't have a problem.
No. Actually, Mr. Jabab, you are in government.
Yeah.
So I want you
and I'm telling you, this is it. I don't have a problem with either of them.
All right.
I'm just saying it may be redundant, but it has happened. Okay. Now that's the only vehicle we have. We go by it. The point I'm making is that because it's new, maybe compliance will be difficult. Businesses may begin to learn or are trying to learn how to comply with these new requirements. That means that they will need to incur new legal costs, new technical costs, new financial costs, new technological costs. All these costs match up. So I'm saying that.
But for the greater good.
Yes.
So for Ghana.
No. I have no doubt about that. But so give them enough carrots to be able to comply.
Okay.
That is not the time to begin to use the stick. Give them enough carrots so that they will comply. Because what do you think they are going to do?
That's what he said. He said the window is not closed. At any time,
what do you think?
You can come in and
what do you think
apply.
will happen if you close? If they are bad from, they will go underground. If they go underground, it will not be for the greater.
All right, Mr. Jabab, let's hear you out. You are in government.
He has already. Yeah. The Gold Board has already thought of this. That's why the window is not closed; it's still open to people still willing to venture into gold business. And you see, one thing Doctor could not run away from is the fact that the Gold Board, even upon 6 months, less than 6 months of being in session, what Gold Board has achieved is something that no Ghanaian can run away from. And you see, if we allow Gold Board, as we are seeing now, to operate for some time, we are going to see the results are going to be so enormous. And this is what we want.
He's not disputing the benefits.
He's not disputing. He's not disputing.
What Gold Board seeks to do for us. He's saying that it affects people in the wrong way. It affects.
I know. That was when I asked him. He said he was not against it. He said he's not against it. He said that.
So the question is, does it come at extra cost to these businesses, these miners, those who export gold, to now get a new license under the Gold Board regime? Now that's
I don't get that clear.
Okay, so Gold Board has revoked the licenses of all those who had their licenses under PMMC.
Yes.
He's saying that the cost of doing business now will be more expensive because they have to now go and apply for new licenses. They don't know whether it will come at extra technical cost, extra legal fees, extra. He said a number of things. The question is that in fact the truth that it's going to cost businesses more to get the new license under the gold board regime?
Your SIM card, common SIM. How many times have you registered SIM card in Ghana here? How many times? You see, sometimes there were some processes wrong.
Yeah.
This is what I want you to get me clear. People acquired gold license under mysterious conditions. People, just by virtue of the fact that there were party foot soldiers, were given license to mine gold. This is what destroyed our concession. We saw it. This is what destroyed our water bodies. We saw it. People were just discriminately, mining anywhere without any recourse to lay down mineral rules and regulations. That's what Gold Board has come in to address. So you look at this, if the processes by which people acquired the license were not right, and said, no, we are reissuing licenses. I mean, to reissue licenses, to reissue whatever permit, it's not a new thing for an institution to do. So I feel that if the Gold Board failed, is it a new thing? No, it's not a new thing for an institution to do. The Gold Board has realized probably the processes that led to the attainment of those licenses were flawed. There were not processes that are good for one to say that we can use this to arise at our objectives of, having to rake in the resources, the revenue we are looking for.
He also made a point.
Therefore, we want to formalize the system. If you want the license, go through process A, B, C to attainment of the license.
He's saying that instead of doing this one-size-fits-all approach and revoking all the licenses issued under the MMC regime, you could actually go do a targeted approach, review each license, find out who has been complying, who has been mining ethically, who deserves to keep his or her license. Rather than say, because Gold Board is now in action, we are revoking all the licenses and causing these businessmen to now have to go through a new process of acquiring new licenses. Could that have been an option to explore?
That could have been an option. But before the Gold Board takes this decision, mind you, they might have also done their due diligence. That's what I stated earlier. To the processes, the steps by which some of these licenses were acquired. That is what will inform whether they should go this step or the other way around.
Mr. Money?
I think we should be very hesitant in condemning the introduction of the Gold Board Act. I think what we need to do is to square the justification of the enactment of Act 1140 to the revenue we are raking in, the gold we are maximizing and selling at the same time. And we all can see if the CD is now having a strong foothold because strong foundation because we have enough gold to support our currency. So what needs to be done and with urgent promptitude is education on the new Gold Board Act 1140. It said any law without education is a hallucination. So thus we all know that this law was rushed and then leaving people, especially the stakeholders, to really get the essence of introducing this Gold Board Act. So it's not too late to go back and then educate maximally all the stakeholders about the benefit of this new Gold Board Act. And we all know that policy enactment, policy introduction is the result of situation variables or contextual factors. And before the enactment of this Gold Board Act, we all know that what we're receiving as a form of revenue was something, it was a pale in comparison with what was being smuggled outside. So this Gold Board Act has come at the right time. In fact, it's the right legislation at the right time to fix a gaping hole in the gold trade and the gold industry. So all that we need to do now is to demand education, so that every dealer in gold will know his or her right, how to offend, how not to offend the law, and the consequences also for offending the law. We've been told that those who offend the law will be subject to severe punishment, but education should come before the application of the law. This is my take.
Thank you so much. And we have to move on now because tomorrow we are launching the 24-hour economy policy. Minority is still asking, they're asking some valid questions. Where is the money coming from? We know that we are looking at some $4 billion to, actually implement this fully. They're asking where's the money coming from, and they haven't yet got a bill, in Parliament. Parliamentarians have, and Mr. Jabab, you can confirm for me, have they presented a bill, a 24-hour economy bill to Parliament yet? But this is what we have. Tomorrow we will see. I think on our big stories today, we'll actually be engaging some members of the committee to get their perspective on this matter. But Dr. Zato, I like starting with you.
Let's just start with him.
You bring the heat.
He's in Parliament. He's in Parliament. He's in Parliament. He can tell us.
No, I mean, the questions minority is asking, it makes sense to me, an ordinary person. I mean, I'm not sitting here in any political colors. Yes. That where are we going to get the money? I think government is absorbing just like 10% of the total cost we need to actually implement this holistically. And they're also asking for clarity on, the policy, the programs. All these questions need to be answered. But in 24 hours or less than 24 hours or a little above 24 hours, we are launching this. But we do know that some sectors have already started, like some petrol stations in Adenta and the rest. Even the Speaker of Parliament was saying that Parliament will be starting. DVLA has started. Yeah. So it looks like, we have done some trials in some places. We don't have a comprehensive report on how that fared, but we are going at its full haul tomorrow. Mr. Jabab, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I thought you were going to start with me.
No. I mean, he's in government, so let's ask the questions, and he gives us the response.
Good. Okay. Yeah, the honorable MP. Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, I mean you first.
You are messing up.
I mean, of course, you might have concerns. We don't know.
I do. I said, look, I teach public policy. And there's something we often call the theoretical or ideal policy cycle. We should try to explain public policy. I'm still looking at this 24-hour economy. And it's a complete detail of policy confusion and obfuscation. You don't even know where to start and where to end. We've been talking about 24 hours, this 24-hour economy for almost a year now. It was one of the most talked about things on the campaign trail. But still, I'm asking my questions. What is the problem 24-hour economy seeks to address? And what is hypothesized or what is supposed to be its outcomes? What is it supposed to achieve? Take a policy like free HSS, education, and we're hoping that this number of students are going to go. Clear, very simple to articulate. There's a problem with students who are not going to school because they cannot pay. We'll pay, they will go. Simple as that. Take a policy like planting for food and jobs. People want to go farm, they don't have the money or they don't have the equipment to go, we'll provide and they will go. Simple. You can even make a very simplistic input-output argument for that. 24-hour economy. What is the input? What is the output? The reason why a bank is not running 24 hours is not because it doesn't want to do 24-hour economy. It's because I'm not going to sleep, wake up in the middle of the night and say, you know what, let me go and cash a check. No, I'm not going to do that. You're not going to do that. None of us are going to do that. I'm not going to sleep in the middle of the night and then say, you know what, let me get up and go to DVLA and renew my license. I'm not going to do that. Nobody's going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to sleep and wake up. You know what, it's 1 a.m., let me go to a restaurant and eat and come back and sleep. Nobody's going to do that. So what is the problem 24-hour economy seeks to achieve? I am a lecturer at the University of Ghana. We start teaching sometimes at 7 and we end almost at 9 or 8. Are you going to get 2 lecturers to teach the course I'm teaching? You said 3 people for 1 job, right? I'm a police officer. You can increase the number of police officers. If you're a teacher in Igala Primary School in Tumu, or if you are a teacher at Kanto Secondary School in Tumu, and you are teaching mathematics, are we going to get 3 mathematics teachers? And then we are saying that the first class of students, they will close at 3 o'clock, go, and then the second class of students come at 3 o'clock, they will start from 3 o'clock, close at 8, then the third mathematics teacher will start at 8 and end at 12. Is that what it means? If I am a nurse.
All right, so I'm reading from the 24-hour economy agenda. This is a document I have. It's a 283-page document, and I'm currently on page 15 now, and I want to respond to some of the questions you're asking. So Ghana's fundamental economic structure, they say, is deformed. It is still structured like a colonial economy, meaning it is just a cog in a larger global economy where it is organized around the interest of others, not the citizens. We have import dependency that we're trying to solve, structural misalignment within the domestic economy. But what's really important to note, and this is coming from the preface actually, and that's from President Mahama. He says that we promised an economic reset, not because it was a powerful campaign slogan, but because our current economic structure simply does not work for us. For which reason, they have targeted industries, sectors. It is not a blanket size or one-size-fits-all approach. There are various sectors that need to be operating 24 hours to maximize our exports, maximize our output, maximize our productivity. You agree with me that we keep saying that we have too many natural and human resources in this country to be operating at the level that we are. It's always about how we can make the most out of it. They're saying that this 24-hour economy policy, plan, program is the solution for that. They're saying that this is how they transform the national economic agenda. This is how we get more people into jobs. This is how we get more sectors to thrive without the closing at 5 p.m. Perhaps when you have more energy, you can go, you know. This is how you introduce the shift system, where one job, especially for factory workers, you can have 3 people do the same job and you're employing 3 people, you're increasing your productivity. I'm just trying to tell you what they're saying.
You are, but I have to respond. If you want me to respond,
okay.
Why is the factory, I know factories that are operating 24 hours now. I know factories that are running shift. It's happening now.
But it's not on a national level.
You see, is it a private, talking about a private factory or a government factory? A public factory?
Both. They're not on a national level.
If it's a
Plus,
private,
this time around, I understand they have incentives for those who choose
if
to go
you are a private,
for the 24-hour
the point I'm making is, if you're a private business and you have your factory, the reason why you are not running 24-hour economy is not because there's no 24-hour economy policy. That's not the reason why. The reason comes from because there are businesses now that are running 24-hour economies. There are people that are running shifts. Hospitals are running 24-hour economies. Hospitals are running 24 hours because people fall sick at any time and you go. So sickness doesn't take a break. Hospitals are running 24-hour economy.
Okay.
You can't say the port is running 24-hour economy. What I'm saying is that if you have a business, Joy FM is running 24 hours. There was a time when GTV used to close at 12 midnight, right? They'll play the Yana Assassin and we go. Today there's demand. Today there is demand, and because of the demand, radio stations and media houses do not close.
Right.
I'm saying that you don't need a 24-hour economy to be good. If it's a private business, the only reason why they will not run 24-hour economy is because it doesn't make good business.
Be that as it may, Dr. Zato, it has come.
Yes, agree.
And it is no longer a party slogan. It's this administration. We are in government now. This is no longer politics and campaigning. And it has come. And so tomorrow we will see how it begins.
Exactly.
Your question is still that you don't see what need it comes.
First of all, where are we going to get the money from? Secondly, where are we going to get the energy from? We have serious energy problems, even to power the regular period that we have. We have regular energy. So where from the money, where from the energy, and also we can just say, where are the tangibles we are supposed to get?
All right. So that's 3 questions. Thank you. Mr. Mwani, I want you to speak before I come to Mr. Jabab.
I think we need to wait for the details tomorrow when they are unfolded, and so that we can make an informed judgment as to the viability of the 24-hour economy. But I think enough rhetoric has been bandied about, so the time for action is now. The slogan in our Church, Assemblies of God, is action now. So we expect action to start from tomorrow after all the talk about the benefits of 24-hour economy. But I think we should also, again, be hesitant in condemning this initiative. Certain sectors of economy operated on 24-hour basis before the introduction of the 24-hour economy. But from my understanding, now there's a deliberate policy, national policy, to scale up the operations of these sectors of the economy so that it will help cure joblessness, which is a #1 factor of the storminess of hopelessness among the youth. So this is
what you say. Mr. Jabab, you speak for the government. You're a member of parliament.
Thank you so much. I've listened to both panelists, and I think the controversy all around 24-hour economy out there too has been loud. And thank God tomorrow, when I see 24-hour economy, one thing I have always thought of is when something is there, but in an informal way, and you want to have it, change is always very resistant, as you know. But that is not to say 24-hour economy is a change. But economy
It's a game changer.
It's
a game
not
changer.
a change, what is it?
It's a game changer.
I'm coming. It's a game changer, but there's a direction I want to come from.
Let's hear you.
What I want to say, is not a change. It's directly from what you were saying that the pharmacists were doing 24-hour economy. Are you understanding? It is not that we are now going to get the framework governing 24-hour economy. Now, if you have been before this, if you have been to port to clear goods and you were caught up by time, where the custom official will tell you that we have closed, time is over, we cannot approve a declaration for you. You would have known the essence of 24-hour economy. If you have been to DVLA, probably to change or register your vehicle, and when it is time that you should have these institutions work, and they tell you that we have closed, you can no more do this, then you have seen the essence of 24-hour economy. The passport office, where you are in queue, sometimes the whole day, that is where you see the essence of 24-hour economy. The policy from day one, his announcement up to the point, didn't say that it's coming to probably begin from on the fertile ground and unknown ground. No, it's beginning from some selected institutions, institutions that will thrive well, that we see that it needs, shift in work. It has the potential to shift. This is what we are talking about.
But, I mean...
And this is going invariably, will lead to increased productivity. Number two, this will reduce unemployment. So if one says that he doesn't see what 24-hour economy seeks to achieve, then I have a problem. I have a problem because these are all problems that the state is looking for to achieve as a solution.
Page 18 of the 24-hour economy agenda, you've actually listed, I think, 7 things, and you're calling the orientation or the integrated solution. So reduce dependence on imported food and production inputs, lower post-harvest losses, expand domestic manufacturing, affordable patient capital that unlocks MSME growth, a highly skilled Pan-Africanist. It goes on and on. Citizen engagement, accountability, a vibrant cultural, artistic. The question we're asking, Mr. Jabab, where is the money coming from? You're talking about 4 billion. Where is the money coming from?
Where the money is coming from? You know, before 24-hour economy, the government has put in interventions that it has, avenues that they will generate income to fund 24-hour economy. When this process, when this policy kickstarts. So the government has made adequate preparation for the launch of the program tomorrow. So for you to get a better understanding for where the money will come from, please wait for tomorrow.
Okay.
And you will not be surprised.
All right.
I just wanted to say something quickly.
Yes, I'll allow it.
There are 3 points that are mentioned prominently. DVLA, passport, and port. I understand those parts. So there are service delivery sections. The problem also have is that if you overpromise and then they deliver, it becomes a problem. So will the staff of DVLA be tripled? Because people are looking for jobs, and that's what they're looking at. Will the staff at the passport office be tripled?
I think the workload will
the staff at the port be tripled?
Exactly. Because
you see, honorable, when you
the volume of work that will come there will determine.
So if the volume of work lessen, then it may not triple, it may double. Now, if the volume of work still not to do, it may not. You see, you understand? You understand, right? So if people are excited that 24 hours cannot bring jobs, so they are excited that okay, DVLA office in Wa. Right now, they have a staff that works the regular 8 hours. And the 24-hour economy, you are talking about 3 people for this. So are they going to have 3 shifts? That means that if the current staff there is 10, 20 people are hoping to get jobs for the 3. Is that what you are promising? At the passport office in Wa, if you are 10 officers, it means that you are going to add another 20. And so on. You are getting people overly excited. I don't know what you understand. Because it's 3 people for 1 job. But you also just made a point, is the demand. So if there's no demand for passport service picking up after 10 p.m. in Wa, will you still have all this working 24 hours?
I mean, not to believe but at this point, we know they've incorporated digitalization.
Digitalization.
But no, it's on your point, which means that it is not a one-size-fits-all, thing.
Exactly. No, but that's why I picked the sectors that are often mentioned.
Yeah.
My point is that governments are used to overpromising.
And
they're delivering. And when you do that, there becomes that policy disconnect.
Okay.
We are over-promising. It's like we are saying that 24-hour care is like Aquabam. You remember Aquabam those days? It will solve every sickness you have. We are promising like Aquabam, like as you said, one size fits all. It may not be Aquabam, it may be paracetamol.
And they're saying that for the clarity we are seeking, we should listen to them tomorrow.
We will. We'll be here. Right?
Yes,
we'll be listening, right?
Yes.
And
we'll come back tomorrow.
And we hope it cures all the problems.
What I was telling Doc is that 24-hour economy, he made specific reference to what? DVLA and what?
Yes.
DVLA will employ. If DVLA employs, and probably WA office doesn't deserve 3 shifts. There could be an office somewhere that needs 3 shifts.
So it will be based on demand?
It will be based on demand.
Okay.
So let's wait till tomorrow.
Something can create a
you
demand.
Can, so you can create. But you see where we are going with this. So it means that it may not be the 3 people to one job that we promised. Some places may be 1 person, others may be 2, or 3.
All right, gentlemen, we have to go. But I mean, today we start to see the what's it called? Appreciation of our data for money, money for data. That's what's it called? The Communications Minister, Sam George, mentioned that today, 1st of July, we start to see an improvement in how much we get for when we buy data. So, for example, I think I do that 92 gig. I should have waited to try it today, but I bought data 2 days ago. So those out there, those following us, let us know how it's going. We just want to get an understanding of how your experiences have been. Quickly, let's see if we can get some stories from the papers, and then we have to go in about 3 minutes. So, Mr. Mon, any of the 3 minutes, Mr. Mon, any story on your paper that you want us to get into that we haven't discussed yet?
The attempt to increase food production, and the Secretary Minister, Eric Opoku, is flying high as far as his job is concerned. But again, we need to see action. The viability of whatever policy they have will be seen in availability of foodstuffs market and their prices. So in the past, we promised that we're going to plant more food and create more jobs. I'm yet to see any assessment of what went on. Again, we need to learn from the setbacks of that policy, and then to ensure that the policy does not go the same lane.
Okay. Mr. Jabab, do you have any response to that, or should we get to other stories? I want us to touch, I want to end up with this proposal coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the establishment of independent committee to oversee political party financing. That will be the last story. So if you have a story here.
I have a story I wanted to.
Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Delegate, 4 Chinese galamseys arrested with pump action guns.
Okay.
Look, we're talking about rhetoric and action. We heard the rhetoric about galamsey.
Yeah.
Today, nobody in this country is saying that we are winning the galamsey war. We are losing it. We say galamsey is an existential threat.
And I think I buy into the narrative that we should stop calling it galamsey. Galamsey, to the best of my understanding, gather and sell. But this is illegal money.
Let's even go with that. We're talking about rhetoric and reality. Everybody says that it's an existential threat. And everybody says that we are losing the war. And everybody has asked for 2 simple things to help. 1, repeal the LI. 2, declare a state of emergency around water bodies. This is what everybody has been asking for. This is what has been promised in opposition, and this is what is not happening. We are losing the war. You know why we are losing the war? Because we are not treating galamsey as an existential threat. We are not treating it as an emergency. E-levy was an emergency, it went like that. Betting tax was an emergency, it went like that. D-levy was an emergency, it actually came to the House, and the certificate of emergency, like that, is gone. Even holidays, to name holidays, it came and the state of emergency is gone. Why are we not sending galamsey to us a state of emergency to get it done? If it's an existential threat, if it is killing us, now Chinese have pump action guns. That's what the story is saying. What else do they have in the forest? What else do they have?
Actually, the visuals
So the question I'm asking is that if it is, and we promised, remember, we were promised. The Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference went and pleaded with the president, media coalition, everybody. They're asking for some very, very simplistic, in fact, these are not even low-hanging fruits. These are ground-lying fruits. Repeal the law, and secondly, what? Declare emergency around waters. Why are we not doing it? Why are we not treating it as an essential threat? Why are we not matching the rhetoric with the action we promised? Because this was what was promised us. We were told we would do this. Today, we are not doing that. Today, we are actually allowing the women organizer of the NDC to go and do something like this. Why are we not doing it?
Why are you calling her women organizer?
She is a women organizer of the NDC, right?
No, but she has an official capacity.
That one too. That one too. That one too.
Well, I'm saying she's not going to the grounds in the capacity
I've not said that. I've not said that. I've not said that. I'm saying she's look, the point I'm making is this. Please, we are cheapening the Galamsey fight. We are rendering it useless. We are cheapening it to such an extent that it doesn't have the effect that it has again.
All right.
If it is an existential threat, if we agree with that, why can't we do these two simplest
All right,
things?
so that's a good question you're posing to government. Mr. Monu, do you agree that nobody's saying we are winning the Galamsey fight as we speak?
In the past, they were just wasting everybody's time. But now, in fairness to the Secretary Minister, Amaku Fuboa, at least attempts are being made to tackle.
That's not what Erastus is saying.
We listened to you. Hold on.
It's Erastus in this
Dr. Zato, calm down, calm down. Mr. Moni has the floor now.
Yeah, attempts are being made to tackle Galamsey, but we will not be able to move the needle yet, and this is a fact. And the fight against Galamsey is like feeding a shark. Once to stop, the shark will eat it up. So it's an ongoing fight. So and now we've been told that the new secretaries have been established, which will scale up the fight against Galamsey. So more action is demanded from all those who man that secretariat and the political will, which has been so conspicuous by its absence in the past. So the time has come for government to pluck up that political will and then tie that with action, and we'll see that our water bodies, stability levels will all take shape. Mr.
Monu, you're a voice of authority, so I'm going to push you on this. Comparing the promises that were made to the Ghanaian in the lead up to election 2024 from the current administration and the actions that we've seen right now, you yourself have said that it's like feeding the shark, but you've seen some efforts. In fact, we should include the EPA boss. She's also been doing great work, sure. Although I haven't caught wind of her in a while. Comparing that to the explanations that are coming in now, sometimes you hear that the understanding of what it would take or what it would mean to us if we repeal that LI 2462 completely versus what they understand it to be now, for which reason they were seeking to, I think it has materialized, the amendment, it has matured in Parliament. Yeah. Comparing that, what they said they would do, what we were asking for, versus what they're doing right now and the explanations they're giving to some of the actions. How do you rationalize it, and are you impressed?
I think we've taken a step forward. We've moved a notch higher in the fight against Galamsey. But, and the best repeating, that we are yet to move the needle as far as the fight is concerned.
Okay. So, Mr. Jabab, that comes to you then. Is it very difficult to repeal LI 2462? And is it impossible to declare a state of emergency, if not completely, but around our water bodies? Is that something that is doable? If so, when can we start to see that happen?
Repealing the LI 2462, you see that the process has begun. And you see, for example, it takes the political will of a leader. The issue of Galamsey has historical, tracking, if you want to put it. The issue of Galamsey has not started today. It started long ago. But let's look. The previous administrations, everyone has done one action or the other to show that sometimes they want to stop Galamsey. But we want to see the political commitment, the political will, the action. The action I can see is just from this very government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now, when was LI 2462 enacted? Was there any will? Was it not this very LI that gave some party chairmen the licenses and autonomy to mine in our forest reserves, destroying water bodies and other things, etc.? Now, the president is saying that if it is this LI that should be repealed, that will make the issue of Galamsey, that will save our environment, our forests, that will make us have decent mining, then I'm committed. Even people who made paid lip services. My presidency is on the line. Couldn't they repealing?
I think, like I established, we've moved past campaigning.
Yeah, sure.
We've moved past what we need, the rhetoric.
Yes.
We are in you are in government.
We are in government. That's why we're seeing the action.
We asked for two things.
Yes.
A state of emergency. Why are you so excited? Please.
I want you. Two very simple things.
We are asking that.
Ground lion fruits.
See, the truth of the matter is, I am still unable to drink water. I can't cook with water flowing from my taps because I know cyanide and it's non-biodegradable.
Yes.
I do not want to risk, diseases that I have no control over. We have seen documentaries of how babies are born with like it is a terrible situation. Talk less of the food that we eat from. We are Ghanaians. We like the banku and the fufu and the cassava, yam, plantain. Yeah. You don't know where the water is coming from getting into it. Which means that in as much as the noise may have come down, the fight or the reason why we needed galamsey to be stopped, it has not changed. So what would it take for this administration to say, okay, we've heard you. For the sake of our water bodies, the food we eat, let's declare a state of emergency just around all our water bodies so that at least we see that one thing we asked is being done. That's the question on the minds of many Ghanaians.
Can I high five
I'm not speaking for you.
I'm saying, can I high five you? There you go.
No, you see, these are legitimate concerns.
Honorable.
These are legitimate concerns. That's why I started by telling you that if you want to see where you see the political will, I was not doing politics.
Going out, Hanabisu going, matching Chinese people, they are moving and she says move. I don't see that as... I think these are... Sorry?
This Hanabisu go there.
No, I'm just giving you some of the...
if you said Hanabisu going out, it means she went in the individual capacity.
No,
she went in
the task force. We are seeing... These are all actions.
Really? That is what Galamsey fighters will reduce.
Dr. Zato, can you let me host the show?
Please. I moved the way you said I shouldn't.
No, but the point I'm saying is, seizing excavators, good call. But we were in this country where excavators got missing in thin air. We were never able to trace them. I've heard them say that they are tracking all the excavators at the port. But we also know that would not... At some point, some excavator will disappear from the port and enter some forest somewhere. And we will start, talking about how we've arrested them. But in order to deal with the problem head-on, instead of the reactive measures we are taking, why don't we...
The problem head-on is where you see the process to repeal the LI. You see,
you have not started the process to repeal. You have amended...
I'm coming. You see the blue water, Guards. All these are processes. You see, the Galamsey started not today. And to stop Galamsey will not just take you one night. That's what you need to know. You need to try several processes. So if you see the blue water gas, you see gas here and there, season of port, excavators at the port. When was the last time this was done? Excavators were never tracked at their point of clearance from ports. But if you now see all these initiatives, it means there is goodwill. Government is making a whole lot of processes, steps to combat Galamsey. And I want to assure you that Galamsey will surely be combated.
Can you assure me that you will repeal LI 2462?
Of course.
And can you assure me that me and the Ghanaians watching that at some point this administration will actually declare state of emergency on our water bodies?
When we get there, you see it.
And that's our time, gentlemen. Mr. Wani, I'll give you the final word on this matter, if you have any last words for us.
Today is a national day of prayer and thanksgiving. And,
and Cardinal Texan is in town.
Cardinal Texan is in town to officiate the prayer service. The Muslims will also have their turn in the afternoon. And I think as a nation, we need to prioritize prayer and thanksgiving. Cicero once said, and I quote, a thankful heart is not only the greatest virtue, but the parents of all other virtues. So as a nation, we can look back and thank God for how far He's brought us from the hellish yesteryears and the brutish experiences we've endured over the years. So as a nation, we're making progress. Like a typical headmaster's report, where about more could be done. We have a long way to go to fix the issue of unemployment issue of poverty, acidic poverty in large parts of the society. Right. Issue of accommodation. Many of those who are sleeping in ramshackle structures and all that. So we have a long way to go. Right. So we need to pray. I said that prayer is the only force to which the Jehovah God yields. And prayer is, is like a currency which you can buy. You can buy employment, you can buy stability, you can buy peace. So as a nation, we should never devalue prayer.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Moni. Mr. Jabab, final word. I mean, feel free to reflect on this National Day of Prayer.
National Day of Prayer is a very important thing. Our forefathers began the struggle for independence, the struggle for sovereignty of Ghana.
Yeah.
And all was with God. See, Ghanaians have known God before the advent of the European, whatever you name it. So, like Mr. Moni rightly put it, we cannot do this just by our own might, just by our own strength, but with the help of God. And I think that coming with this National Day of Prayer is a call in the right direction, and we need to commend the leadership for that.
Okay.
And as we pray, as we seek for intervention of God, we must not forget one reason why we fought for independence, one reason why Ghana became a republic among the nations. And for that, lifted the flag of Ghana very high in the respect of other countries in the West African sub-region in 1960, that we always pledge to work very hard to ensure that Mother Ghana will stand tall, Mother Ghana will live up to Ghana that we all expect.
All right. What about atheists and agnostics who don't believe in
You've never
God?
come to me, right?
Sorry, final word.
Yes, I was going to say, it's a good idea, it's a fantastic idea, it's good, at least we get one holiday, we can sit at home. But they are discriminatory. Christians are praying, Muslims are, what about traditionalists? My name is Jebunti. Do you know where it comes from? It's a traditional name. What about traditionalists? What about them?
Are you ATR, African Traditional Religion?
I'm Catholic, actually.
Oh.
But I believe that African Traditional
But the day is declared for all Ghanaians.
No. But the president is going to...
They can also do their own thing. You can also pray. Let's get to the calabash of water.
The president will go to the mosque, probably. The president will go to the church, but he won't go to a shrine. The state will help the Muslims do their thing. The state will help Christians do their thing. That's discrimination. Secondly, I want to use this day of national prayer to pray the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, that the 24-hour economy will be a success and that God will help people change their minds and deal with galamsey. And that they will repeal the law and that they will declare state of emergency.
Amen. Those who join us for the news review this morning, Dr. Joshua Jebuntie Zato. I got it right. Senior lecturer, policy and political analyst at the Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Legon. Of course, Nelson Kofi-Jabab is Member of Parliament for Krachi East constituency. And Mr. Afel Moni is former president of the GGA. Gentlemen, you all came in blue this morning. Thank you for making it a very good conversation. Stay with us. When we return, we get into our big stories, and you don't want to miss a beat on the AM show.
Well, welcome back to the AM show. Remember that the AM show is brought to you by Whaley Properties, and we still provide quality housing at affordable cost and with flexible payment options. So with us, you can own that beautiful dream house of yours. Let's get into the big stories now. Look, dealing with brazen attacks on security forces by illegal miners is one thing that government has set out clearly to deal with, and with the establishment of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Secretariat and yet to be established Gold Board Security Task Force to eliminate the threat in the fight against illegal mining and the trading of same. Now, this morning, a comprehensive discussion will be had here and on this particular matter, covering various angles, because we have with us people who really understand this whole issue about, gold and its impact on the environment and what needs to be done. Our own Erastus Asaridonko is an environmental journalist, and he's with John. He'll be joining us. He's joining us via Zoom now. Pakwesi Shandov is Media Relations Officer with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. He's also here with us. Michael Kwadwo Pepra is President, Concerned Small Scale Miners Association. Also joining us via Zoom is Awola Sewa, Coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizens. Samuel Osebekwing, very knowledgeable in the extractive industry. He is Executive Director of this for the Center for Extractives and Development Africa. Also, Abdul Razak Al Hassan is Director of Communications of the Association of Small Scale Miners. Well, so when we say we're going to cover every angle with this, you know exactly where we are headed. But Sweetie, let's start with Pakwesi. He's in the studio. Pakwesi, why the secretariat that has been put together to streamline the effort to tackle galamsey?
Right. So first off, very good morning to you and to the rest of our listeners across the globe. You would recall that, in the previous administration, there were efforts to clamp down the excesses of illegal mining, including raids and swoops. Now, a good number of those were not, as it were, properly coordinated. And then again, they were not necessarily intelligence-led. So the essence of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, simply put, NIMOS, is basically to create a framework that harmonizes all of the operations where illegal mining is concerned. That is basically the thrust and the essence of NIMOS. So if there is intelligence gathered at any particular point, which would warrant an invasion of any mining forest, it is NIMOS that would, first of all, galvanize all the relevant security agencies to be the boots on the ground. NIMOS would equally supervise the operations based on intelligence, and generally anything around the swoops, the raids, and any operation in that particular respect. We are rolling it out because we want the efforts to be coordinated. And that is why this morning, for instance, the ministry has had cause to issue a formal statement to that effect, that no individual, no matter how well-intentioned that individual or group of persons may be, is mandated to move into any forest reserve on their own accord, despite the genuineness of their concern in the fight against illegal mining, because we want the efforts to be measurable, tracked, and
is this in response
monitored.
To what we've seen other people do? For example, recently we've seen Dr. Hannah Bisu, try to embark on some of these efforts. Is this in response to that?
Well, not necessarily a direct response, but the mandate of general coordination is basically what NIMOS seeks to do. That's the thrust and the essence of NIMOS. We outdoored NIMOS. Indeed, it has been in operation already, but we outdoored it last week, Thursday. So now it's the official communication that, given the fact that we have the secretariat, we would rather not want any other individual, no matter, like I said, how well-intentioned their motives may be, to embark on any anti-illegal mining operation. Because when we do that, it has the tendency of creating a challenge where monitoring and evaluation is concerned. So it's not necessarily targeted at any individual, so to speak, because yes, there are a lot of people, even when you go to the communities, sometimes out of their own volition, you have concerned community, locals, indigenes, embarking on some of these in their own small ways. We want everything to be harmonized. So it's not targeted at anybody, it's just to amplify the essence of NIMOS, general coordination.
For her initial reaction to this before we get incisive with this conversation. And Awola, it's really good to see you on the AM show this morning. So this National Anti-Illegal Mining Secretariat, which government is saying is to serve as the central body tasked with coordinating Ghana's fight against illegal mining. How did the news of the launch and the work, as Shandov has just expatiated, come to you? How do you receive this?
First of all, good morning. Thank you very much for having me. Good morning to you and your listeners. You see, I'm a little perplexed. It is a good idea to coordinate the efforts, but at the end of the day, we need to know what exactly we are coordinating. As an environmentalist, what I can see is that environmental terrorism is going on at an unprecedented rate, and nothing robust seems to be taking place. We have asked over and over again for a state of emergency so that you can use your armed forces, you can use the Navy, the Army, the Air Force to go to the hotspots and to have coordinated, what shall I say, coordinated raids into the forest reserve. Shock and awe. You can have several at the same time. But what seems to be happening now is that you have one somewhere, we seize a few excavators, there's a lot of publicity, that's very good. The next minute they are back there. Look at what happened a few days ago when Forestry Commission officers were ambushed. They could have been killed. And this was in the Jimira Forest Reserve, which is supposed to have been reclaimed. So we are saying that we commend efforts being made. But unfortunately, because of the dire situation we find ourselves in, being on the verge of a catastrophe, what we actually need is a state of emergency. Coordinate it, have a state of emergency, go to all the hotbeds, and have several raids at the same time. That is what we think will help. Right now, efforts are being made, but we're not going to the roots of the problem. And of course, we don't need any political interference because the past administration also had a body coordinating. And the problem was the political interference and the lack of political will to actually solve the canker of illegal mining.
Let's pause there. I want to go around and get all those who are with us.
But on that score about political will, let's bring in because so the question of the will to really do the real things to solve it. How can we trust that this secretariat and this government will have it? Because they seem not with that belief.
Yeah, I understand, and we recognize that sentiment across a section of the populace. But the truth of the matter is that the political will, the needed political will to deal decisively with illegal mining is abundantly present as of now.
Really?
Not only in the routines of the president, but in the disposition of the sector minister. And there's reason to that effect. Of course, I have had cause to state on a lot of platforms that if you want to deal decisively with illegal mining, what you need, that sole ingredient, is not even reformed legislations or robust combative mechanism. You need the political will. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, right from the start he took office up to now, has been on the beats. The sector minister has also been on the beats, and that is not just mere rhetoric. If you look at the raft, we're not
looking at being on the beat.
Exactly.
The promise was to repeal LI. LI is it 2462? But that wasn't done. That really put a lot of people like Awula Sewa and co. disappointed because they felt that what you told them in opposition was that you will repeal. But you didn't.
Now, on the matter of LI 2462, first off, I think it's important for us to put in context, and this is not we trying to be evasive or skirting around the issue. LI 2462, properly so called, does not even fall within the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. In as much as the thrust of the law is about illegal mining and concerns us, that law, as enacted in November 2022, came from the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, MEST. And so properly, we would have wanted MEST to deal decisively with that matter. But of course, like I'm saying, we cannot also be evasive and say that, okay, because it didn't emanate from us, we cannot be part of the conversation, especially when it borders directly on illegal mining. Now, LI 2462 was promised. There was the promise to repeal LI 2462. As of now, what is on the table is a proposed amendment to the effect that the discretionary power that was initially embedded in the president and the minister to arbitrarily, so to speak, grant access to mining forest reserves has now been blotted out. Now, not to justify the non-repeal as of now, but if you look at the essence of the amendment, one may want to say that it is as good as a substantive repeal. And this is why that argument perhaps may fly, because the main problem with LI 2462 was the fact that, of course, it granted that discretion to the executive. As of now, that aspect has been blotted. And it is not also the case that the repeal has been completely swiped off the table. No, it has not been completely swiped off the table. I mean, government as of now is only, we want to say, is it 6 or 5 months? Because it's 6 months old as of now. I want to use a very simple scenario, if you would indulge me. If, for instance, I tell you, SKB, that I was going to commit a certain amount of money to you. Let's say that I was going to give you 100 Ghana cedis within a specific duration. Let's say that in a month, I told you that I was going to give you 100 Ghana cedis. Then, in the first week of that promise, I give you 80 Ghana cedis. You would have every reason under the circumstances to trust that I'll fulfill the full length of my obligation. Because if in 1 month I said I'm going to give you 100 Ghana cedis, and in just a week I've given you, let's say, 80 or 90 Ghana cedis, there is reasonable assurance and certainty for you to hold on and believe that then the rest of the money would come. How is it connected to the situation we have? If government said that, okay, at that point, we were going to repeal LI 2462, all right, within a short space of 6 months, with all the other crucial interventions that have been rolled out so far, there has been a significant amendment. Why then should we now throw our hands in despair, as though the final repeal may not even happen at the end of the day?
You know that,
especially when there was no specific.
You know that when you promise someone to give him something, and you end up getting that power that could have afforded you the opportunity to give the person that gift. And you don't give the gift, but you give a certain something else to say, oh, take this for the meantime. You erode the confidence and trust the person had in you.
That is when the timeline.
So when you talk about the political will,
that is when the timeline has elapsed. But as of now, out of 4 years mandated by the good people of Ghana, we've done only 6 years. Okay. And within this duration, I'm saying that a significant or a crucial, a vital aspect of the law has, as of now, been blotted out. Indeed, that has not even been the bone of contention. I want to put on record that this is not a justification or a compensation, so to speak. But if effectively the thrust and the substance and the meat of the matter is no longer on the table, that is the discretionary power that the executive had, then we are making some significant progress. And that is why we shouldn't throw our hands in despair.
I struggle to see where you think you're making the progress, because since that thing happened, you've listened to Awola Sewa, Erastos, Dr. Ken Ashigwe, and all of those people who've been fighting this since from the beginning, say that this is not what we want, this is wrong. And you examine that to mean that you've shown some commitment to it. Therefore, you conclude that you are showing the will to deal with Galamsey. And the people who are seeing this are not seeing it the way you are seeing it from.
The fight against
Galamsey you are seeing it.
It's certainly a process. It is not an instantaneous event. Okay. It's not one of those fights that can, one of those battles that can be won immediately. So the point I'm making is that it is work in progress. Yes, a repeal was promised back then. As of now, we are in that same spirit of doing away with the law through the instructive amendment that has been made, contained in the proposal. So why then should we throw our hands in despair as though there's been a certain forfeiture of promise? Not necessarily, because it is still in that same tangent. The amendment that we have now is still within the spirit of doing away with the law. That
you wanted to go around.
Pakwesi is you speak for this administration, so I think I'll hold on with you now. Yeah. Go around and pick the thoughts of all those we have on Zoom, and then I'll come back to you for the answers. Erastus Asaridonko is environmental journalist with Joy News. We don't have him here with us at the moment. Do we have Samuel Osebekwe? He's Executive Director, Center for Extractives and Development Africa. Good morning, sir.
Okay, I'm told we don't have.
All right, then I guess we are stuck.
But we can bring in Michael Kojo Peprana.
We have Michael. Okay, Michael is the president of Concerned Small Scale Miners Association. And Michael, this new intelligence-led secretariat that will act as a center command in terms of the fight against Galamsey, I'm sure you know the news came to you with some reactions. But the question is, does it meet the Ghanaian at the point of their needs in the quest for us to eradicate this Galamsey? And oftentimes, you are confused with those illegal miners. So exactly how do you reconcile what we are seeing now, this new intelligence-led secretariat? Is that what we really need? Samuel Osebekwe, you are Executive Director of Center for Extractives and Development in Africa. I believe we didn't have Michael on, so let me come to you now, Mr. Bekwe. We are discussing government steps to fight this illegal mining menace and the actions they are taking versus the demands that were made before the assumed office. Let's hear your thoughts briefly on this matter before we get into the conversation proper.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. I think we have to take a step back and use what I call historical analysis to advise us how we approach this going forward. It is not that this current government has not tried it before. When this current government was in power before 2016, they also tried an operation that was to deal with illegal mining as well. And before even the previous government had come in to do the ban. We have tested and tried a national level approach over all these years, and it has not been sustainable. It is very expensive. It requires you moving a team from Accra to most of these host communities. And let me put this into perspective. Before 2016, the number of regions that had illegal mining activities were less than 6. Today, we are talking about 11 regions.
And Samuel, Mr. Bakwai, I'm sorry, but we have to do this. We understand that the National Day of Prayer, the ceremony is underway. We just want to get a quick look at what's happening there. We know that it's being led by Father Texan. There he is. Let's just get some sounds and sights from there briefly, and we come back to continue the conversation.
Moderator of the General Assembly of Evangelical Presbyterian Church, Ghana, and chairman of the Christian Council of Ghana. Can I please respectfully ask him to step out and do us the honors of the opening prayer? Okay.
May I humbly request all of us to be upstanding for prayers. Most gracious and everlasting God, the founder and owner of our nation, we thank you for granting us this opportunity to come together to acknowledge your goodness and blessings to us as a nation, and for making us see clearly the need to initiate Thanksgiving service in honor and glory of your name for all your goodness to us. We pray, O Lord, that you keep us faithful and loyal citizens of Ghana and worship of you, the true living God. Grant us the will to serve with our utmost spirit, and also grant us the goodwill to serve our neighbor and do that which is in the right spirit for your glory, for the development of the nation. Never leave or forsake us, O Lord, as we begin this in your holy name. Continue to be with us to guide and direct us. Bless the leadership of the nation, the President, His Excellency, and all his staff that help us to forge forward to bring you glory and honor. I pray, O Lord, for all leaders of religious bodies, for all our traditional authorities, and all those placed in realms of affairs to direct this nation. Grant us wisdom and understanding, and grant us the humility of spirit to keep to you and serve in truth and in spirit. Make us, O Lord, be clean in our minds and in our heart to lead life and serve in a corrupt-free situation to bring blessings to every citizen of this nation. Lord, we submit to your authority and we say thank you for making us. Thank you for leading us. Thank you for the opportunity to reset the nation as we reflect and renew ourselves for you to use us to be a blessing to each other.
So the National Day of Thanksgiving is underway, and we'll be intermittently going there to bring you all the details. But the conversation here is really important, and it must continue. And Mr. Bekwe, you were on the floor talking about a historic comparison and how it would show us the way forward. Please go ahead and complete your submission.
Yes. So I had said that under this government previously, there were less than 6 regions with illegal mining. Today, as we speak, we have about 11 regions with illegal mining. It means that the scope of the illegality has increased. Over the years, we have been adopting a national-led approach, whereby we have Operation Vanguard, Operation Clear This, different names and nice acronyms, but as we know, they have not been sustainable. The reason being, it is the local level that understands the dynamics of persons engaged in illegal mining, particularly in our forest reserves, and at the same time destroying our water bodies. So what I expect the national level intelligence center to do is to be a center point where they can coordinate local level solutions. In this case, if we want our military men to go into the district, they should be coming from the local level. If we want our police to go into the communities to clear illegal miners, they should be coming from the local level. However, the National Intelligence Office would be a coordinating mechanism whereby it has a very well-defined scope. And I understand from what Akwasi have mentioned, that the definition of the scope of fighting illegal mining at this time is water bodies and forest reserves. Because forest reserves are not meant for small-scale mining, and also those who are washing their debris into the water, destroying the water for safe drinking. So if that is the case, it is very well defined, then we should have at the district level, the DISEC/the district assembly lead the fight against the illegalities. Let me tell you this, if Erastus were, he would have confirmed. I have been on the ground. And I can tell you for a fact that the police commanders in the district or communities knows every corner of where people are engaged in illegal mining. The district assembly and the planning officers, most of them knows every corner where people are engaged. If you bring people from national, what they do is that they tend to lead them, but then they sometimes tell them we don't even know where they are. And the people have to then find their own way around. We are talking about dense rainforest. We are talking about forests that are far away from communities. That is why those national level approach has not worked. So this is what I would say. Let the National Intelligence Center become a coordinating mechanism for a local-led approach. And I think that is what the government has mentioned that they intend to do by decentralizing not just the license, but also the regulation of the activities at the district level.
Right. And Awolasewa, I realized you wanted to say something in response to that political will when Shandorf was expatiating that they're demonstrating that will with all the actions that they're taking so far. And this is what Mr. Bekwe also had to say. So let's hear you out now.
So what I was going to say is that let's be factual. LI 2462, the Section 3 was what allowed the president to allow mining in globally significant biodiversity areas. And I used to stress on that it was such a bad law that it even allowed the president to allow mining in globally significant biodiversity areas. That's not to say that once you remove that, we solve the problem. It's a little disingenuous. Under the old guidelines, for example, you could only mine in up to 2% of production forest reserves. LI 2462 has removed this caveat. So you have virtually unfettered access to our forest reserves. And let's be very clear, when you make a promise and you break it or you are not keeping it, you, let me choose my words carefully, trust is eroded. This government has an overwhelming majority. When they came, they promised to revoke e-levy, which does not cause an existential threat. That has been done. The betting tax, which does not cause an environmental threat, that has been done. But when it came to matters of the environment, we appear a little reluctant to do what should be done. Honorable Sami Jemfi assured us that immediately, the tapes are there, it's not me speaking, I'm quoting him, immediately Parliament resumes, we will revoke LI 2462. So the amendment is a bit of a slap in the face. And to be fair, it makes civil society organizations and others believe that there's been a lot of lack of good faith. We are all facing an existential threat. It's not just me, it's not just civil society organizations, every single Ghanaian. And I would say that the reason why more regions are being invaded by environmental terrorists is that the political will is not there, not just with this administration, the previous administration as well, when the president put his presidency on the line and things went from bad to worse. We want to support the president to bring an end to environmental vandalism, but we need to see some goodwill. We need to see LI 2462 revoked as was promised. And then the demands that were made, which in opposition were agreed to, the state of emergency. We know what the hotspots are. We don't need any further intelligence to tell us. We know. You can read Erastus's post. We have the intelligence. We know where the hotspots are. So what is preventing us from doing simultaneous raids into the hotspot? If it's a war, water bodies are being poisoned. We're at war, and deal decisively. And then, as has been said by my brother, you need to have the localized approach where you can deal with it. But for now, you need to put out the fire. And I believe that a state of emergency is vital. If we don't, the window of opportunity to deal with this canker is closing. And if we want Ghana to sink to the level of some Latin American countries, let's keep on dilly-dallying. By the time we decide to do so, they would have become so entrenched and so well armed that it would be much, much, much more difficult than if we took the decision earlier.
Well, isn't the secretariat probably where government wants to start, so that if the state of emergency is declared, there could be a body to coordinate the activities related to that state of emergency?
Well, you see, if we are being told that that's what's going to be done, but all I'm saying is that time is running out. And we seem to be coming up. Today is blue water guards. Tomorrow it's this. Whilst we are doing all this, the house is burning. The house is burning. So yes, all these things are all well and good. We do need to coordinate. But it's to be clearer to Ghanaians if we are told that we are going to declare a state of emergency. In the meantime, we are doing A, B, C, D. Because from where we are standing, things seem to be getting from bad to worse. And then we still have the political interference. I'm not going to name anybody on this particular show, but we've been given names of highly placed persons who are allegedly involved, and that is why we are finding it difficult to deal with the canker. They'll tell you that it's now their turn, but the Ghanaians did not vote for musical chairs. We did not vote for musical chairs.
Well, Pakwesi, I mean, if you listen clearly to or closely to Awula, the secretariat is good, but there's much more that they demand. I mean, will the secretariat be the beginning of us seeing a state of emergency being declared?
The truth of the matter is that, again, I'm reiterating that the cause for the declaration of a state of emergency were valid back then, and they still are appropriate in our current circumstances, except that if you were going to declare a state of emergency and you have not put in the relevant mechanisms that would give effect to that declaration, then perhaps the declaration itself may be moot. It may be much ado about nothing. And on a couple of other platforms, I've had cause to, again, use a scenario to explain why, in declaring a state of emergency, there should be backing mechanisms and policies. And if you would indulge me, I want to repeat that scenario again. I mean, repeat it here. For instance, if, let's say that at the start of a year, at the start of a calendar year, somebody who is a Christian goes to church and says that for the entirety of this new period that we are entering, I'm going to dedicate the bulk of my life to good living, righteous conduct. Now, after that open public declaration, let's assume that that person, for instance, were involved in what are some of the moral ills that we have? Let's say, for instance, armed robbery. The person was an armed robber, goes to church, lifts the hand and says that I'm going to do ABC. The pastor, everybody is happy that, okay, Kofi or Kwesi says that now he's departing from the trade of armed robbery. Meanwhile, Kofi still has his guns. He's still in the company of the bandits who he goes on the operations with. And every other ammunition that enables that trade is still with him. Yet he goes to lift his hand and say that I'm departing from armed robbery. Effectively, we can know right from there that that declaration will amount to nothing. Why? Because he has not dislodged and discarded the instruments of his trade, and he's still in that particular company. Tie it to the call for the declaration of a state of emergency. If it is done today, I can assure you, Brace, we would have that applause from the entirety of the populace. The optical appeal would come. The commendations would come from all quarters. Everybody would be happy. But if the fundamental issues on the ground, which is, first of all, the complicity of sometimes even traditional leaders and all the other nitty-gritties are not addressed, you would declare a state of emergency, but you may not be able to see the substantive results. Nothing will give effect to that declaration. And that is why we've consistently said that, look, we are not necessarily backtracking or pussyfooting the issue. What we are saying is that it would come, but put in place the right mechanisms to give effect to the declaration. I'm summarizing. Let's assume it's declared tomorrow. For instance, 2nd of July, it is declared. Yet, community education in the mining environs, those jurisdictions, the education is still low. You have not provided alternative livelihoods for those who, because they don't have any means of trade, indulge in illegal mining. Then again, there are no active reclamation efforts. What really, beyond that optical blaze or appeal or that political incentive, what really is going to be the, so to speak, essence of the...
At what points did you come up with this analogy and understanding of what it would take to declare a state of emergency? Because when you were asking for Ghanaians to give you that bid to lead the country, you didn't appear to have any problems
at that point
with declaring a state of emergency.
Absolutely. Now, at that point, I think the timelines are also significant here. The time the NDC was calling for the declaration of the state of emergency, if I do recall properly, it was, if you like, the closing embers of the administration. So that was over an 8-year period. That was the point of last resort. We all remember.
So exactly Mr. Bekwe just told us. Let me give you one answer.
We know, for example,
listen to this. From 6 regions, now we have 11 regions. So tell me exactly what's changed from the last days of the previous administration to the beginning days of your administration that makes it senseless, excuse my French, to declare a state of emergency right now.
Those are your words. We don't think that the idea is senseless. The point we are making is that, that's okay, but the point we are making is that it is not a proposition that is off the table. However, we want it to be supported by policies that would give proper effect to the declaration.
You're not answering the question. The question is, when you were calling for the declaration of state of emergency, and in your words, in the dying embers of that administration, from that point to January 7, when you came into power, to today, July 1, what are the differences that you think it was okay for a state of emergency to have been declared then, and not okay to have been declared now because you are laying the foundations?
Prior to now, for example, okay, and this is not trying to launch our rocket into space or blow our own trumpets, but prior to now, for instance, there were 9 forest reserves which had been designated hotspots, which meant that they had been encroached by armed illegal miners. As we speak, 8 of those 9, confidently on record, have been retrieved. Okay.
How many? How many? How many? You said how many?
8. The retrieval is 8. Okay.
You retrieved
so we had
8 forests.
Yes, we had now 9, but now 8 have been retrieved. Now the only outstanding one, as we speak, is the forest reserve in Desiri. I think in the Ahafo North municipality near Tepaso. And the reason that is still outstanding is because of the nature of the encroachment. It's rather more complex because we do understand that there are some civilians who have also taken shelter in that particular enclave. So you had 9. In total, let me just maybe say with the facts at this moment. In total, you have 288 forest reserves across the country. 44 had been besieged and impacted. Out of that 44, 9 were designated red zones, which meant that the state didn't have any custody at all. They had really been immersed in the hands of the encroachers. Within the 6 months period, Out of this 9, 8 have been successfully retrieved under the guidelines of the sector minister, the Honorable Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa. Okay, so really you can right from there know that the danger that existed is certainly not the challenge that we have now. Really? Grace, 8, you have 9, you have done 8. There is 1 outstanding. And even that one, government is working as seriously around the clock, even with the institutionalization of NIMOS. So really, because you are making progress, and that is basically the argument we are advancing, that the state of declaration, the state of emergency is of course a proposition on the table, but puts in the real work. Otherwise, it would appear, and let me say this authoritatively, we do not just want to appear as though we are fulfilling a campaign promise. We said we were going to declare, therefore we have declared. If the declaration does not substantively deal with the elephant in the room, then what have you really done? That is why we want the policies to commiserate the declaration. It's that simple.
I mean, when it comes to these issues about illegal mining, our fact checker is Erastus Asaredonko, and he is joining us via Zoom now. Yeah. Erastus, so let's start from where Sandov ended. According to him, 9 forests were, out or were no-go areas for the government. From January to now, 8 of them have been reclaimed and only 1 is outstanding. Is that factual?
I don't want to be in the shoes of Parkwesi Shandov this morning. He's having difficulty articulating the issues because Parkwesi, you are not on the ground, so I'll forgive you. And I don't want to be in your shoes. They've given you a job that is so difficult to do. And I think that you should take your time. The facts are inaccurate, if not to say false. Let me give you the updated illegal mining sites, forest reserves by the Forestry Commission itself. This is the data I'm holding right now. In the data, they have designated it into red, orange, yellow, and green.
Okay.
Now, red means active illegal mining site, difficult to control due to large numbers of illegal miners, violent armed guards, and/or large numbers of excavators, military support required.
Okay.
Orange means frequent incursion by illegal miners, usually with excavators, and/or large numbers of illegal miners requiring continuous surveillance and monitoring, generally non-violent, but has the tendency to become violent occasionally. Yellow, medium difficulty, generally non-violent illegal miners with the use of other equipment. And green means situation generally under control by FSD local management. Now, let me tell you how many of them are green at the moment. When I look at the data, only 4 of these forest reserves are green. And let me give you, when I counted, 45 forest reserves have been attacked by illegal miners. 45.
Within which period?
45. Oh, within, I would say the last 8 years. Okay. Yes, 45.
It's 44.
Well, I don't know whether you still have the same data. I have counted.
I think it's the same data we are.
Let me even give you the benefit of the doubt and say 44. Out of that 44, only 4 are green. 4 are green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 are yellow. Now, orange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 are orange. So which of this data is telling you that 9 have been attacked and 8 have been retrieved or whatever? This is the data from the Forestry Commission itself. If you want me to mention the names of the forest, we'll not end today. But Ashanti is leading with about 14, as I counted. And then we have Western North about 12. And it goes on and on like that. We have Western North, Central. In Central, we have Dunkwa and Carrier. And then Ashanti, we have Bekwai, Mankranso, Offenso. And Offenso is a very troubled area. As I speak with you, the Jimira and Jimira extensions are still heavily armed. And that is where the Forestry Commission guard, one had his knee slashed with a machete. Just about 3 days ago, they rained bullets on a vehicle of the Forestry Commission when they went to the Jimira extension area. That is close to Betinko, Pechi, close to Bibiani. They nearly died. And these are no-go areas for anybody. The rest, the IGP has done a fantastic job with Boyne River, Boyne Tano, Tano Anya, Tano Nimre, and the rest. So that place, I would say that fairly, occasionally, somebody goes in there and then they are flushed out. So that side, I would say that we have done a lot of work in that area. But generally, it doesn't really look good. And this is just forest reserves alone. If you're talking about mining in settlements, in homes, almost every town that has gold has seen mining in the town itself. And Bebiani, when you go to Bebiani Old Town, it's an eyesore. In the town itself, people's homes, you'll be living in your house and somebody brings an excavator because he's found gold and he starts scraping off the foundation under your building. Osino, it's just by the main road, Kumasi Accra Road. And we are still watching. My issue is that I have been on the ground for some time. I have studied the reason why a government is unable to do certain things that it wants to do. The Lands Minister is a very good friend of mine. He extended an invitation to me. He has sought my ideas in fighting this. I appreciate that. But they are not able to work because of politics. Party people. All these people are party people. You find some constituency chairman somewhere who is backing somebody up with his power for him to go into a reserve to mine. Everybody wants to do the illegal side of mining. Nobody wants to go through the right channel. Why is that? Why are we not encouraging the NDC should come out and tell these people, please, if you want to mine, follow the rules, get your license, get it regularized, and go and do legitimate mining. And that is the reason why the government cannot act. They are feet dragging. Feet dragging because if you go in there and you declare a state of emergency, you'll be fighting your own people. That is the basic thing, nothing else.
So you disagree with government when it says we are laying down the foundations so that a state of emergency declaration will be effective?
Well, they have laid down the foundation now. Let's watch what happens next.
You don't sound confident.
Brace, the major problem now, and even the IGP who is now going all out, and he doesn't care whether it's party or whatever, and he's arrested. He's still facing the same challenges. You see, there's been attempts to take out the excavators that have been seized. In Samra Boy, they have tried many times. Some of them have been going to the commanders there, brokering deals and other things. We are following, we know, trying to get the excavators out. If you remember in Kumasi, those that have been parked at the Forestry Commission depot, you have a whole national security operative go in there and saying that we've been asked to evacuate all the excavators when there was no such order. So clearly, it tells you that there is a certain kind of resistance, and it's coming from party people. And so when they come to your office and they start approaching you that way, they are your people.
This
and
resistance
that has been the problem.
Please, let me get a word in here. This resistance you talk about, are we dealing with criminal gangs or increasingly militarized syndicates? Who are these?
Well, so we have constituency chairmen, we have people who are aligned, executives of the party. It happened under the Akufo-Addo administration. You see, normally when people want to do illegalities, they fall on somebody who is powerful because they need cover-up. If a certain kind of task force is coming around, they need somebody who can call them off. It has been like that under the Akufo-Addo administration, under the Mahama First administration, even now. So they fall on party people mainly. And then there are other people at the national level who hold certain powers, who want to support them and all that. That is the kind of, if you're looking for, excuse my language, the kingpins or whatever, that is it. We have people who are entrenched in Galamsey and they will not leave, and they want to do the illegal way all the time because that is cheaper. There is no cost. You are not going to pay for reclamation. When you finish, you leave the pits abandoned. You will not pay any taxes to government. Mining is expensive. So if you want to go through the normal channels, you have to pay, and even pay to the state. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to go directly. So they will invite people, the Chinese and others, to come. Let's mine. I have identified a place here. Let's go and mine. I'll use my power to cover you. And until we are able to make a decisive action against people who are aligned to the government in power, mind you, we will set up all the NIMOs and all the security apparatus. Nothing will happen.
Okay. All right. I mean, stay with us. Let's bring in Michael Kojo-Pepra. Well, you want to make
yes,
a point?
I want to quickly react.
I'm just giving you 1 minute.
Yes, it appears that there is some statistical discrepancy between the number I provided and what Erastus is also providing. But the truth of the matter is that the data that...
No, but he gave you the benefit of saying that. He went with your data.
No,
44. He even stuck with your 44.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's come back to the involvement of, as he puts it, partisan folks who actually are the conspirators and those who enable it in the very first place. And this is not to hail the minister necessarily, but I mean, if you ever heard the minister talk about the issue, or if you saw and measured his disposition, he doesn't care who is involved, whether it is a constituency chairman. There are facts and details I may not be able to disclose here. But irrespective of who is involved, irrespective of your party affiliation, even if you were a die-in-the-wool member of the National Democratic Congress, the combat now is irrespective of your identity.
So what has happened?
And that is why,
if you say so, what has happened to the Evaluate Jomara chairman who came out that he was involved? What has happened to the
Alwyn
MP and all of that? I mean, you say that he doesn't care. What has happened to those
people?
For
every individual who has been named, the process is ongoing. Because, of course, when the allegations are leveled, in the interest of fairness, you would have to hear the parties and appraise the facts of the issue.
That until you're in trouble, you won't appreciate due process. When Ghanaians were calling for him to prosecute those who were found culpable. You're giving us the same narrative right now.
But what else would you do apart from investigating? Before you crack the whip, you definitely have to ascertain the fact. I'm saying that there are some details I cannot provide. But as of last week, for instance, I mean, I was in an engagement in that particular
So you say that they are investigating those
absolutely,
people. We hear.
Absolutely.
We have our eyes on the ground, so don't worry. When you say something that is...
We all have our eyes. I mean, I'm with you.
Erastus will come and expose you, so we'll leave it to him. Michael Kojo-Pepra is joining us. Mike, so you are on the ground, so you better understand what's happening. What do you know of how the Galamsey is today? And do you think NIMOS or the secretariat is the game changer that we need? Michael Kojo-Pepra, do we have you?
Yes, so unmute for us.
First of all, we need to understand this Galamsey issue has been in existence before the birth of Ghana, before even Jesus Christ was born. So trying to resolve or solve a problem that nature will not take just a day or a week or a month. It might not even take years. But the most important thing is to understand and appreciate the problem. In so doing, at least the solution will come in no time. This issue that has been faced with this country, I would say that sometimes you might have the political will, sometimes you might not have the political based on the issue at hand. But every time that these issues pop up in the public domain, we always use emotions in trying to resolve the issue without really understanding how we can manage or solve these issues. I have said it clearly that using the military approach is not the rightful approach that can solve this issue. Time in and time out, we've used the same approach, but as a matter of fact, we've not achieved anything. So you cannot do the same thing every day and expect different results. And that is what Ghanaians as well want. So we failing the fight, you cannot blame it on the politicians. As a country, we don't really understand. We've not been able to navigate to really go deeper into the problem so that in so doing, find a problem changer or we find a solution to the issue. So I will not always blame the politicians. I will blame us as Ghanaians, in the sense that the pressure we put on the politician, that as well made them act in a failure manner. Bread and butter issues, you don't use brute force. Bread and butter issues, you don't use forces that you think will suppress the issue. In so doing, the problem will fight you back.
So what do you think is the right way to deal with it?
The right way is solving the problem using an approach that brings solution.
Which is what?
Are the positive factors in Galamsey? One, unemployment. A lot of these youth in these villages just doesn't have anything to do sometimes. They are very energetic, they want to work, but when they wake up in the morning, how to survive becomes a challenge. So you don't expect them.
Mike, I don't want to cut you, but I mean, several times people have said, if you give this analogy, then you are trying to say it is right for people to take up guns and go and rob people because they don't have jobs.
If you had made me finish, at least we all come to realize that sometimes the solution is not about being sentimental.
I'm not sure people are sentimental here. The thing is that you are analyzing the issue saying that the genesis of it is unemployment. We agree. Unemployment is real. But should people pollute water bodies and destroy the environment because
I was about to end. You don't cut me. Hello?
No, then you need to make your point then, because where you started.
Okay, so you should let me finish with my presentation. Then, because if you cut me, ideally
we are dealing with time. So answer the question about
unemployment is the factor.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure, in so doing, we create an avenue so that the youth can gainfully be employed, or at least they can find other sectors to, put in their energy. Licensing has been a problem. To even acquire a license is an issue. What can we do as a country to make sure that what is happening, at least we can streamline the activity of the gold sector? But this is not where we are as well thinking. Look, to get a license, now you even need to start the application online. How many of our people can go to online to even apply? So the solution we brought before,
Michael Bafra, we have to pause here for a bit. The Speaker of Parliament is addressing the nation at the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. Let's listen to him and come back to you.
All the earth, worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. This is the word of the Lord. Thank you. We come to our first prayer session, and it's a prayer of thanksgiving for Ghana. The other day, I met a longtime friend from one of the West African countries, and I came across him somewhere in town, and I asked him what he was doing in Ghana. He said, he doesn't have money to go to Dubai, so at weekends he comes to Ghana to have fun. And I asked him why. So Ghana is a nice and quiet place. Oh, how proud I felt. Let's give God a big hand. So it simply meant if he couldn't go to Dubai, he will come to Ghana. And that's something to be proud of. And so we take the first prayer point, thanksgiving for Ghana. We have a lot to thank God for. To take that prayer to lead us in the march will be Reverend Dr. Stephen Wengam, General Superintendent of the Assemblies of God. He will lead the charge. And he will be supported by Reverend Dr. Enoch Thompson, Executive President, the Ghana Baptist Convention, and Pastor Thomas Techi Okran, President of the Southern Ghana Union of the Seventh Adventist Church of Ghana. And so the two of them will give a supporting arm to Reverend Dr. Stephen Wengam. Please let's receive the man of God.
Thank you very much. May we respectfully rise to our feet. Instead of one person doing this, in the next few seconds, wherever we are standing, God wants to hear your singular voice, including those watching us live. Can we close our eyes and, if it is possible, lift your two hands, and wherever you are, you will thank God for this nation. You know what God has done for us. You don't need anybody to tell you. Our enduring democracy.
Of course, like I mentioned, we'll be going back there as and when we need to bring you some important details. And Michael Kojo-Pepra was on the floor. Michael, you have to wrap your thoughts for us because we're pressed for time. So in conclusion, what are you saying? Because I think Kojo was trying to probe on alternative livelihood as not a solution, really. If you say these people are unemployed, which is why they're going to dig and cause harm to the whole nation, that's not an argument that will fly. But conclude your thoughts for us quickly.
And, we are not saying we are in support of people mining with impunity or destroying the various forest cover and water bodies. What I want the country to channel its energy is to make sure that we will streamline the activities of these people. Because time in and time out, we've used the same approach, using the military approach. I think this might be the 10th time of using this approach. So do you expect us to get a different result by, reverting to the same approach? Right. So at least there's something that is missing. And these are the things I just want us to draw our minds to. The previous government spent over 200 million to solve this problem. And yet still, we couldn't achieve anything. All the things that they brought about in trying to resolve this issue, it turned out to be a failure. You remember the Operation Vanguard. You remember the Operation Hot. Or Hot 1, Hot 2. Even the Minister for, Environment even brought about MI something. Right, just to help in curbing the problem. So
we have not,
approach,
we haven't got the desired results.
We have not been able to understand the problem at hand.
All right.
That is why we always go into this standard.
Thank you, Michael. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan is Director of Communications, Association of Small-Scale Miners. And Razak, thanks for joining us. So as we speak, Gold Board has revoked the licenses of all those who had licenses under the PMMC regime. And tied to that is this new intelligence-led secretariat, NIMOS. The question on my mind is, these illegal miners will make their money when they sell the gold. Now, Gold Board has a central command over how or where we, how we sell gold that we mine from this country. Do you think that that in any way meets us at the point of our needs? And Shandoff is saying that the state of emergency is something they will do after they've laid the foundation. And this secretariat is one of this foundation that they are laying. What sense do you make of all these in the quest to eradicate galamsey from this country? And Razak, if you can hear me, please unmute.
Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. So what sense do you make out of all this?
I didn't get you. If you can repeat what you said too.
Gold Board's revocation of all the licenses that were granted under the PMMC regime. This new intelligence-led agency, secretariat, NIMOS, which they say is the central command to help or to actually facilitate the fight against galamsey. And the fights we are seeing in terms of, attack on people, and governments establishing their NIMOS, all these in a quest to remove galamsey or illegal mining from this country. What sense do you make of it? And are these actions, do they meet us at the point of our needs?
Thank you very much, my sister. Thank you for having me. Good morning to your good listeners. It's true. I think government have introduced good board, which comes to replace PMMC. And we had a discussion with them. If I say we, it means that we, the association members, we have engagement with the good board CEO and his team. And we've all agreed that, yes, the steps that they are taking, it will help our industry as well as the nation. Because there are so many things that people say against mining, which is the small-scale mining sector. But we have the other aspect, which is the positive side, which people don't recognize. So by getting our own natural resources to make sure that we use those natural resources to develop our own country, that is the best. So they brought the idea that we need to all come together and see to it that, yes, all the natural resources, which is the gold that we acquire within the downstream, we will do our own trading and make sure that Ghana exported on our behalf. And we all agreed. But when you link it to illegal mining, yes, the illegalities is there, but there are those who are also doing responsible mining. So we need to look at both sides and see how best we can acquire the natural resources legally and then get profit for the nation or develop the nation as well. So to me, it's a win-win situation. Whilst we are looking at the fight against illegalities, we should also look at the positive aspect of it and see how best we can correlate, and then we move forward as a nation.
What about the secretariat, the NIMOS? And the government is touting that as the foundation for which we can actually begin to see them delivering on the promises they made. That is the revocation of LI 2462, the declaration of a state of emergency. How did that news come to you? Do you think that that's what we need right now?
My sister, yes. People may say we have so many secretariats, we have formed other secretariats like the interministerial committees and those things. But at this point in time, we need this secretariat because if you look at the fight against Galamsey, which is going on now, it is more or less like everybody is doing what they think deem fit. And I don't think when you are hungry and you get food, you can use all your two hands to eat. It's a step one at a time. So I think some of us have been calling for this because we need to have a bureaucratic system. We need to have a system which is being in place to make sure that when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, we know that this is the stop or the table that we all head towards to. And these are the people who are fighting. When it comes to accountability, when it comes to the role they all played, we then know. But if you look at recent times, I think the way we are going about the whole thing, party executives are fighting it with their own task force. We don't know how they get the task forces. National security are doing their own thing, fighting it. Even Mineral Development Fund, they've also formed a task force. And then we have the police, which is the IGP, also constituted his team and then instructed his regional commanders. Even notwithstanding, we have regional ministers who are RECSTEC chairmen. So when it gets this way, it looks as if the whole thing looks very complicated. And even with all these forces or people fighting it, are we getting results? So it looks the Natural Resources Minister is also doing his part. Minerals Commission, EPA, everybody is going down, fighting illegal mining. But at the same time, let's ask ourselves, are we getting results? So it is good this secretariat has been there because people have taken advantage to form parallel national security operatives, and they are going around and they are extorting money from miners, and they are doing the same thing that they've been doing already. But if we have this secretariat, it will jeer all us, and we know that these are the people, or this we don't want to identify the people who are leading it, but we know that this is a secretariat which has been there, and then they are responsible for illegal mining. And then if they have, they will decentralize themselves. We know that, yes, this is the Cortes, this is how we are fighting it, and then we can all fight it as a nation.
Thanksgiving grounds where the acting Chief Justice is speaking. So let's go and listen to Justice Bafo Boni now. Okay, all right.
So in that case, let me go back to Razak. Razak, you're saying that all the other initiatives, groups, task forces that we formed have not yielded a desired result. And so NIMOS gives you more confidence because it has a more centralized approach. What about the other things that were promised in terms of the declaration of a state of emergency and the repealing of LI 2462 and that U-turn, if you may, that we've seen in terms of amending rather than repealing? What about that? Are you expecting government to still deliver on that promise?
Need in
like you said, it's a campaign promise where the government said they will repeal the law. But when we talk of state of emergency, it is some of our people in the country who are pushing for that state of emergency. And myself and you, we all know this when it comes to state of emergency, how the whole system will be. And let us be frank with ourselves. I think repealing the law when it comes to the forest reserves, fine, that we as small-scale miners, we don't mine in the forest reserves, and they don't give us licenses to mine in there. Fine, government can look into it with the nation as a whole. All of us can put our heads together and see whether we are repealing it so that nobody gets into our forest. And no government gives us licenses to mine on water bodies. So anybody who is on water body and then, what is the name, a forest reserve cannot be a small-scale miner. So at the end of the day, we are here to fight a canker which is disturbing the whole country. So if government will heed into the call of repealing the law, fine, that is the way we should go. But bringing a state of emergency, I think we've not gotten to that stage. And if the repeal is being done, I think Forestry Commission and other state agencies will have the power to take everybody out of the forest. And our water sources too can be fight. And that's why they have this blue water guards and those things. We can take them out without even going for a state of emergency.
Kojo, so this is what Razak is saying.
Well, Razak, I mean, the argument, and do this for me in a minute so that we can go and look at gold board issues. I mean, the argument is that you don't do things the same way and expect different results. I mean, we had IMC-IM, we're having NIMOS. You think NIMOS could deliver for us the sort of results we are looking for when IMC-IM could not deliver those results?
My brother, like you said, you don't do things always. You see, IMC, which is Interministerial Committee, they have done so much. They've done their part. And we've learned some lessons out of it. Okay. So by establishing this new one, they will learn from the past what they did, and they got it wrong, and then correct themselves, and then we'll all see how best we can collaborate and then move ahead and fight this canker once and for all. I think it's a good to form that secretariat so that we would then know, because like the previous one, for instance, when this fight against Galamsey came in and the excavators issue and what, people were able to head towards the Interministerial Committee to talk about it, and then how they got vanished and those things. But as we speak, when there's even the seizure of equipments and other things, where do you even look at them? How is the state even getting the profit, whatever they've taken from the miners? But if we have a secretariat, that secretariat can be accountable, and then we can all push and make sure that we will help, and then see how best we can fight this canker.
Okay, so let's go to Gold Board. Gold Board says it will soon, form its own security task force, which has the powers of the police, some powers of the police, to ensure that they check gold smuggling. You are in the business of producing gold. How can we make this work?
My brother, thank you very much. I think Gold Board, this thing have come into our notice, and then we all agree that they should form intelligence, because this is the downstream aspect, which is the trading aspect. And we cannot be producing gold, and then people will take advantage to be smuggling this gold out, and the nation is not getting any profit out of it. So we all agree that yes, we can form they can form a team where they will pick intelligence and make sure that those who are doing the smuggling, those who are doing things which are not in line with the rules of Gold Board, they can be taken or picked up. And then we'll see how best we'll centralize our gold and make sure Ghana benefit. So that call, we are not against it, but let's see how it will be implemented, and they do not take advantage to be harassing. They shouldn't open it. It should be more centralized. It should be more coordinated so that we will not take advantage to go and be harassing innocent ones. That is where we all need to be looking at.
Mr. Bakui, I don't know if you're... Thank you, Razak. Mr. Bakui, I don't know if you're still with us. Let's hear your thoughts on this Gold Board initiative and the revocation of the licenses under the PMMC regime and everything there. We are wrapping up, and so we want a comprehensive wrap of your thoughts for us.
Thank you so much. I think we have to also go back a little bit. I think the Gold Board had announced right in April, right after the law was passed, giving existing license.
Your voice sounds muffled or very far away from the microphone.
So I said, I think the Gold Board had announced in April, early April, that they were, after the law, their law had been passed, that they were giving existing licensees, and I think they stopped issuing licenses in March. Existing licensees, some timeline to, apply for the new license. So in the morning, I heard on your channel somebody saying that it was too abrupt. For me, that is not how I saw it. However, we believe that some of the existing licensees should have been given the gradual training or opportunity to learn through the process. And that is why I think the Gold Board CEO has announced that the deadline has not ended. It is a continuous thing. So if you need a license, you can just apply for the license. But we all understand that the Gold Board, the main aim of the Gold Board is to the benefit of Ghanaians. For me, I always see that from a serious and organized crime point of view. We are talking about a sector that people were carrying cash coming into Ghana, exchanging in forest bureaus and buying, and they were using that as a money laundering or a laundering machine to wash any dirty money, whether the source of the money were coming from, we don't know. Today, as we speak, the aggregators that are buying the gold on behalf of Gold Board, and we understand they are working also in conjunction with Bank of Ghana, you need to deposit the dollar in Bank of Ghana from wherever you are bringing it before you are being given the cedis in Ghana cedis, and then you use that to go and purchase the gold. So at least we've controlled that particular angle of potential money laundering route using our small-scale mining sector. So that alone for me is a positive for me, in addition to the forex benefits that may be given Ghana at the same time.
Okay. Thank you, Samuel Osei-Bekwe, Executive Director for Center for Extractives and Development Africa. Let's go now to Awula Sewa. Awula, we've kept you on for a while without saying anything. And I mean, these are the arguments pouring in. It appears it's only Michael who is confident that NIMOS holds the key to our quest to eradicate this Galamsey menace. But give us a comprehensive wrap of your thoughts after listening to everything so far. Awula, I think you're muted.
Yes.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just want to make two observations. First of all, I'm not sure if you can track where the gold is coming from, whether it's coming from the environmental terrorists or whether it's coming from legitimate sources. But I wanted to make a point. You know, when it comes to the state of emergency, the arguments that were being made were very sad. If you don't want to declare a state of emergency as promised, just say so. But you talk about education. How much more are people going to be educated? Then you talk about livelihoods. Investigations by those on the ground, people like Father JB, who are on the ground in Jema, where there's no illegal mine. It's not driven mainly by lack of livelihood. It's by greed. And let's also be absolutely clear. When we talk about Galamsey has been with us from time immemorial, that is so, but they were using hand tools, come and gather, using hand tools. The game has changed completely. It's virtually not recognizable. We're now using heavy-duty machinery, polluting our water bodies and destroying forest reserves, you know, at the drop of a hat. So we cannot compare the two. It's a completely different ballgame. So I want to stress in no uncertain terms that we cannot be waiting to provide livelihoods before we deal with the canker. When there's armed robbery going on, do we say that, wait a minute, maybe the armed robbers don't have a livelihood? So let's sort of be careful about the way we deal with them. We face an existential threat. Our water is being poisoned, even when
think we lost our Lawa. We have some interference in the connection. And we still have about 2 more people to hear from before we can wrap this up completely. I don't know if we still have Erastus Asaridonko with us. Erastus, it would be a good time to hear your final words.
Yeah. I want to say that I do not want to discredit the work of NIMOS. In fact, the commander who is at the helm of NIMOS, Wanken Elboa, fantastic soldier, very principled, and I want to believe that he will bring something to the table. I'm just articulating the challenges that he's going to face. And it has always been about the bottlenecks, the party people and all that. Just to say something little about what Razak said. You see, we always hide behind the fact that we say small-scale miners are not allowed to mine in forest reserves. Yes, it's true by law. They are not allowed to get a license to mine in forest reserves. But all the invasions we are seeing are being done by small-scale miners. So we have to face facts. And I support every institution that is bringing something to the table when it comes to illegal mining. The issue with NIMOS is that when IMCIM was there was no backup force to watch the watchman, if I should put it that way. And so you have the infractions going in a certain way, and there's nobody to watch whether they are doing their job well or not. I will not rule out the IGP from all this. In fact, he should be a major player in what we are doing. And so far, he has been a very strong force. And they are the ones who will prosecute. And so they should be made part and parcel of the NADMO force. And I'm not one saying why. Let's all bring our hands to the table. Let's all police, as media personnel, let's also do our job. Our job is to monitor them and make sure they are doing what they are supposed to do.
Thank you.
That's what I was.
Thank you. Shandov, it appears we are watching with eagle eye whether this NIMOS secretariat...
I think
we have one
let's
more?
take Michael, yes.
Okay, sorry.
Michael
Let's go to Michael now. Michael, your final thoughts for us?
Especially if you can also, in addition to your last thought, take a bite on the gold board issue.
We all support the gold board initiative. And as a matter of fact, we applaud the MD for gold board, Sami Jemfi, for bringing all of the sector together. And we all came together to make sure the gold board is inaugurated. So it's something that we all want to fight against the illegal smuggling of gold and the money laundering that comes with it. So we support the task force integration, and we pray that gold board will do a fantastic job. In so doing, can help stabilize the city of this country. With the inauguration of the NIMOS, I think it's good. Just that, as my brother said, we need to find a coordinated way in fighting this problem. Nobody can just, bring people together and just go into the various places to fight galamsey. Sometimes it poses as security threats, because now that they are going, whilst it is not being coordinated, anybody can do anything and bring the name of the government into dispute. So when it is coordinated, I think it is very laudable, and it's all doing, at least we can achieve something. What I would urge government is to make sure that it should implement what is in its manifesto, bringing about the cooperative mining scheme. That will be a game changer in our sector. And so doing by empowering small-scale mining, so that all these galamseyers who are mining with impunity will come under the small-scale mining sector. In a sense that if you give somebody a license and there are other people who are mining with impunity, by way of training, at least these people will be taught on the best practices in mining sustainably. We should channel our energy as a country on how best we can get people to mine in a sustainable manner. That is what we should be channeling, and we should be sensitizing these people who are doing what is wrong. Because in so doing, at least we will create employment, and Ghana would also benefit from the gold which have been mined by these people. We cannot let people sleep on gold and the youth go hungry. At least we need to make sure the gold that we have as a country will mine, and so doing the country will benefit from it.
Okay.
Thank you. Michael Kojo Pepra. And that's the president of Concerned Small-Scale Miners Association. Back to you, Shando.
So I think across the table, it's obvious that everybody wants Galamsey to be a thing of the past. I also have that expectation as well. But we need to be very measured in our calls. Not to say that we should not express our concerns, but we have to look at the depth of the devastation. Pollution that has occurred over an 8-year period, logically,
not 8 years. It goes beyond.
Even beyond. I mean, we would not expect that we would restore the environment to its pristine state in a matter of 6 months. All the same, like we have had cause to say, government is working around the clock to deal with the issue. But by way of summary, I just want to take us through the 5-pronged approach that the ministry has actually deployed to deal with the menace. NIMOS is one of them, but NIMOS actually sits under one of the layers of interventions that we are rolling out. The first has gotten to do with the reformation of the whole licensing regime. So what we are doing now is that we are reforming the whole licensing regime, and that means that as of now, we have not issued any new mining license. Indeed, all the existing ones are being reviewed by a special committee that is being chaired by the Deputy Minister to ensure that they are in line with relevant protocols. We are also embarking on massive reclamation, and that, needless to say, I'm sure you would know that is very cost intensive, but that is equally a priority that is on the books of government. We are also upscaling the enforcement of law enforcement agencies. That is how come we have NIMOS in the very first place. We are also deepening education and awareness, because it would surprise you to know that, I mean, as of here, as elitist as we are, we naturally understand that Galamsey is an environmental threat. But if you move into some of these local enclaves and jurisdiction, they seem to have a different perspective. Indeed, there are some who believe that no matter how you ruin the earth, Mother Earth would have a way of recovering itself. Indeed, there are these kind of deep-seated perceptions that facilitate illegal mining. That is how come the education is important. And last but not least, we are also offering alternative livelihoods. It is not a justification to say that because I don't have a job, let me venture into illegal mining. But practically, if you also offered those individuals something to do beyond mining, or even mining in itself, I'm sure you would, chalk some success. And so that's how come offering. What we are offering now is, so there is the NELP, or NAELP, National Alternative Employment Livelihood Program. What we are bringing on board now is COMSDEP, that is the Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program. Engineer Frank Asari was on another platform. He explained it thoroughly. In the course of time, I'm sure, hopefully by the end of this month, we would see it in the full rollout. When Cabinet gives its final approval.
Is that not same as community mining?
No. So there's a distinction between community mining and cooperative mining. What we realized with the community mining was that it actually became an avenue, a platform for illegal miners or perpetrators to actually now destabilize the system.
So what would the cooperative
somebody, for example,
what would the cooperative mining be
just a second. Somebody, for example,
what would the cooperative mining be doing?
What the cooperative mining will do is understood when we understand the defect in the community mining. So this is what we had in the community mining. Somebody, for instance, sits in Accra, gets a license, comes to a community and says that I've gotten this license, and therefore begins the mining over there. But this is what the cooperative mining will do. First of all, it is going to indulge the local authorities, and it is not going to be a single man's affair. One person sits in Accra, goes to get a license, goes into a community and begins mining. No, it has the backing, and indeed, the minister is actually decentralizing the whole licensing, I mean, where cooperative mining is concerned, to the local folks, the MMDCs and the traditional authorities, so that it becomes a communal project, in the sense that as much as, yes, you are...
Community mining and
what is the significant difference?
The significant difference, I'm saying that, so in community mining, what we have had practically over the period is that they were being fronted by individuals. Precisely, individuals were the ones who had the licenses. They went
to individuals in the communities.
Exactly, but what cooperative mining is going to do, and like I said, COMSDEP is a whole comprehensive program. I'm sure in the course of time we'll flesh out the details. But what it is, the distinction is that now it is not one individual, a single person who gets the license to go into a particular community. It is no longer that way. So it is not discretionary that like maybe SKB has license to go to ABC place.
Okay. All right. I mean, I understand a bit of the community mining, so it may be a banter between you and I.
That's fine.
So and
that's fine. But in closing, just 30 seconds. Let me just use the opportunity to reiterate that the Secretary Minister, the Honorable Emmanuel Lamakofi-Boa, is committed to the cause. The resolve of the President is equally present. And even today, as we pray as a country, let's just lift up more intercession, because the fight will certainly be won. Okay, and just as we're wrapping up, I know that the chiefs and people of Jabin Chrome in Ahanta West are watching. Nana Ejako Buenin, you're watching us. Nana Michiaba Nepe, Assembly member, my own senior Pintolo. Good morning to you. Justice Jones and all of you in Jabin Chrome, good morning to you. But you know what? We need to wrap up by telling you some very vital information that we do have here. But thank you, Pakwesi Shandov is the Media Relations Officer with the Ministry for Land and Natural Resources. Thanks for coming. But are you looking to do things differently, to level up your skills and get ahead in this challenging job market? Statistics show it's tough out here for university graduates, with only a few landing jobs immediately after school. Doing things differently is what you need to do, and that's what the Design and Technology Institute is all about. Now, DTI offers programs ranging from precision welding and fabrication, design innovation, graphic design, sound engineering, animation, photography, amongst others, and entrepreneurship. Our programs are internationally recognized by the American Welding Society, Pearson BTech, and CTVET, so you can shine here in Ghana or anywhere around the world. So if you're ready to do things differently and chart your path, check out DTI. Visit dtiafrica.com/admission or call 0541693534 for more information.
Let me quickly tell you about Nesta Homes, because if you're looking for a home in a prime location, then Nesta's Home has got you covered. Our properties in Tema Community 26, just behind the Palace Mall, offer a serene atmosphere, easy access to transportation routes, and social amenities. Off-plan prices start at $35,000 US. Contact us today on these numbers, 053-101-4440 for more information, or 053-101-4447. You can also visit our website at www.nestas.com.gh. And I just want to tell you about Syntex Tank quickly, because you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right, the tortoise tank, Syntex Tank, is a champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. So whether rain or shine, Syntex Tank has got your back. Go outside and check your tank, and if it doesn't have the tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. This is the number to call, 0244-335-168, to buy one now or find one of 400 agents nationwide. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex Tank, a strong, a tough. Kojo?
Well, just before we come there, we can see the minority leader, Alexander Felmarkin, speaking at the Thanksgiving service. So, okay. All right, then. But before we get there, let's bring you the Jackson Institute of Technology, because they are doing something extraordinary. Now, the Institute, are you ready to dream, dare, and deliver in the world of IT? Look no further than Jackson Institute of Technology, the only NIIT authorized training center in Ghana. At GIT, we provide world-class IT training for individuals and corporate organizations, equipping you with industry-relevant skills in software development, cybersecurity, networking, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, digital marketing, and more. We offer globally recognized certifications, practical job-ready training, and flexible hybrid learning options, which allows you to study online or on-site. Our expert instructors ensure hands-on learning experiences that prepare you for success in today's digital world. Conveniently located on the Ring Road near Circle in the heart of Accra Central Business District, and in Kumasi at Jackson Educational Complex headquarters, Ayeduase near KNUST. JIT provides easy access for students and corporate clients. Our state-of-the-art auditorium is also available for corporate events, seminars, and training sessions. Call or WhatsApp as on 0596 0596037 or 0596996038 or 0552714635 or visit our website at www.git.edu.gh. GIT, your gateway to thriving IT career.
So that's our time on the AM show this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. We're leaving you with a National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. They're saying we should reflect, reset, and renew for national development. We have been your hosts. My name is Sweetie Abochi.
And I am Samuel Kojo Brace. We'll meet again, God willing, tomorrow.